Oh, hi, Squirt Girl. Hi. Hold on. I have to get my video on here. Now, why am I so close? Something's wrong. Hang on. Why am I all close like that? Doesn't the picture look weird? I don't know why I'm so close like that. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the picture. Hi, CM. Hi, me. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Mary Kim. Hi, Delia. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Lonnie. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, April. Hi, Ivy Lynn. Hi, Aletha. Hi, Danny. Hi, Tree Baby. Hi, Mama. Hi, L. Jackson. Hi, Veronica. What Big Eyes? Hello, L. Ellen. Can we talk Natalia? Who's Natalia? Sakura. Hello. Adacor. Hi. KH. KH. I don't get your comment. Thank you, Sakura. Anna, hello. Miss Mary, hi. Flower Girl, hello. Sarah, hi. Hey, Judy. Hi, Lacey. Brenda. Carol Boyce, hello. Lonnie, I got you. Jen Bulger. I'm getting all mixed up. Gigi. Who said there's only 2 people in here? Hey, Tori. Thank you. What Big Eyes? Thank you. Hi, Rosemary. Thank you, Rosemary. Hi, Tracy V. Your chat window said 2 people? I don't know. Thanks, Judy. Hi, Sharon. I'm going to be gone for 1 minute. I'm going to give Deb the number and let her know that we're on. And hopefully she can make it in and give us the update. She did give me some updates to read, but I'd rather have her come in and give the updates. Okay. Deb. Okay, so I just give it a number. Let me see what she told me here. She said, this was earlier in the day. Well, no, it wasn't. It was really this evening. Quick update. 2 teenage ranch hands helpers testified today that they helped move the trough to a burn pit and later dug dirt to cover the burn pit and helped Patrick Frazee load up a metal trash can filled with ashes from the fire. Patrick Frazee and Krystal Kenney made on the 24th, the fire they made on the 24th, likely to be the remains of Kelsey Berreth. Saw photos of the house where Krystal Kenney described where she saw blood. Yes, she was pointing stuff out with a laser where she left blood. It was everywhere, all over the floor, walls, furniture, toys, counter, cupboards, as high as 15 feet up on the walls. Kelsey's dad sobbed during most of today's testimony. Ends up, Krystal Kenney had 2 burner phones. One she used to text Kelsey and ask out for coffee. Kelsey Berreth said no. Krystal Kenney burned it in October. The teenage ranch hands did not know if it was Kelsey Berreth's ashes. Patrick Frazee had cleaned out the trough and canned her ashes in the metal bin with the lid. The boys helped load it on the red truck, but did not see or know about the contents. Okay, so that's what I have from her so far. And this is just making me a little bit nutty right here. Okay, that seems more normal. I don't know why it's... Okay, let's see. Hey, Mooka. Hi, Baby Doe. Patrick S. Gross. Hi, Rosa. How are you? Hi, Save Robbie. Sonia, I got you, right? Tori, see me. I think Evelyn. Hey, how are you? Yeah, we lost our other dog. 2 total. We lost Zoe and we lost Delilah, the big bulldog. The only one we have is the little Maltese. She's on a Facebook Live right now, Seaglass? Okay. Well, she'll probably be on after. She's probably doing a discussion or something. Or debriefing. Hey, 80s girl, how are you doing? You're back from your Kiss cruise? Any news on it? Well, they said there can be school tomorrow because it was a, there was no bomb at the school, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's just crazy, and of all days for it to happen, it's just nuts. Hey, Debbie, loving babes, hi. Do we do right? Hey, Joe Kano, how are you doing? Hey, Tamlin. Oh, the girl that they think might be 30, but saying she is 16. I don't know who that is, Ellen. But we're going to talk about Kelsey Berreth trial first. Hey, Bernard. Thanks. Natalie Barnett. I don't know. She says it's a Ukrainian girl. I don't know. Okay. So I wonder if Krystal, they might call her at the end. Yeah, they could very well. Oh, thanks, Eddie's girl. Hey, Linda. Oh, you mean that girl? You mean the orphan girl? Oh, we did talk about her. The one that was adopted and then they put up in an apartment. But I don't think they said she was 30. I thought they said she was like 20-something. Hey, Gina. Hi, Chris Ray. Which one was a good episode, Anna? What are you talking about? I'm lost. Oh, Dr. Phil. Okay. She's in her 30s. Yeah, we discussed it before. I mean, weeks ago. Lamb chops. Hi. Hey, R. Huff. Thanks. It has not been proven how old she is, right? Hi, Ivylyn. Hey, Kelly. Hi, Paula. Okay, so let me, before Deb comes in, I guess I'll just look over. Yeah, we're going to catch up on today, and then she can come in, and hi, Red Ruby, can come in and get, and I don't know if Red Raven Spirit is going to do the John Bonet after we're done. I would hope she would. Hey, and for you guys that like to research stuff, and I know that some of you do, this is the, hold on a minute, that didn't show up. This is the kennel that I found, and then it happened to be the one Nanette said her friend used. But then remember I told you there was that one dog that had that brain thing, but they said they don't know if it's hereditary or not, and none of the other dogs in the litter have it, and she has other ones. Thanks. I just don't know why everything looks so weird to me tonight. I don't know if it's just my eyes. But if anybody wants to check that out, or if you've heard of that, let me know. Yeah, they're blocked, but I'm guaranteed there'll be more idiots because there's a lot of them. And they travel in packs. Okay, so where was I? I'm going to go get the Kelsey update today. Okay, so is this the one I want? Don't want that. Take this. No, that's the wrong day. Why is that sold? Crazy. Why don't they have the update? Till Deb gets here, I just wanted to read what there was here, but I don't know what's going on here. Hang on, let me just try this. Oh, here it is. Okay. Come on. Okay, so District Attorney Dan May called Kyle Ritchie and Sam Dyer, who worked at the Frazee Ranch on November of last year, to testify Thursday in the Patrick Frazee murder trial. As cameras, live tweeting, and live blogging are not allowed during these proceedings, all of the information from the courtroom was drawn from extensive notes made by News 5's San Kramer. May first handed several photographs to Ritchie, who said he recognized them at the Frazee Ranch. Ritchie said he started working at the ranch sometime in the summer of 2018, and Dygert began working there in August, mainly working on fences, vehicles, splitting wood, clearing up, and other repairs. He said around the week of Thanksgiving, he and Dygert moved dirt to cover some spots around the ranch and got the dirt from the driveway. Ritchie also said around Thanksgiving, Frazee asked him to move a rusty metal trough from an area north of the house closer to the dog kennels. That's the same area where Krystal, Kenney, and Kelsey Berreth said Kelsey Berreth's body was burned. He also identified several other items and areas around the ranch. Ritchie said he thought of Frazee as a boss, friend, and mentor, and while he never met Berreth, he saw their daughter Kaylee multiple times. He said the errands Frazee asked him and Dygert to do around Thanksgiving, including moving the trailer and stacking several wooden pallets, were to get things cleaned up around the ranch. Ritchie said after Thanksgiving, he saw the pallets burned and saw Frazee near the fire. He said Frazee burned a few shed deer antlers, and the fire got really high, about 13 feet. He did not know if he smelled any accelerants. Richie also said there was a silver galvanized metal trash can a few feet away that he'd never seen before that day, with a lid on it. He said he never saw what was inside, and Frazee never told him, but he helped Frazee load it onto the back of his truck. He said it weighed about 45 to 50 pounds, and that he assumed it had ash inside it, and he never saw it after that day. He said he put the trough in the back of a nearby cattle trailer that day, and then they picked up a lot of trash around the property. He said they took the trash to the Divide waste station that day or the following day, but they did not take the silver trash can. Richie said he cleaned up around the trough after moving it and used a magnet bar to pick up 100 to 150 nails from the area. He also said in the few months he'd worked at the ranch, he did not know of any other fires. He said in the morning the trough was warm to the touch, but was a normal temperature by afternoon. Later that day, Richie said he was instructed to get dirt and fill in the crevices that water created. On cross-examination, Richie said his recollection was a little fuzzy, but nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary that Thanksgiving. He also talked about the interview with Woodland Park Police on December 31st. He said it lasted about 35 to 45 minutes, and the detective asked him about the week of Thanksgiving and the following weekend. Richie told attorney Ashley Porter that he knew it was important to tell detectives everything he knew. The defense attorney said Richie failed to mention the galvanized trash can or the shed antlers. Richie said he didn't see the antlers in the burn pit area. Following up, District Attorney May asked Richie if he would make up anything to get Frazee into trouble, and Richie said no. May asked if Richie made up the trash can, and Richie said no, that is real. Sam Dygert followed Richie's testimony. He said he was on the Frazee property around Thanksgiving and confirmed helping Richie move the trough and onto a horse trailer after the fire, but did not help with anything before the fire. He said Frazee told him about the fire the night before and said that it had to be put out because the flames were so high. He also said Frazee put some old antlers from the barn in the fire. Dygert said he helped cover the fire with a layer of dirt taken from another part of the property. He recalled disposing of the trough at a scrapyard in Colorado Springs and said he moved a lot of trash that day, including wood from a pig pen that they tore down, tin roofing, and other scraps from around the property. He said those items were taken to different locations over the next 2 weeks, like Teller County Waste in Divide and a scrapyard in Colorado Springs. A juror asked if there was a more burnable trash around the property, and Dygert said there was. When asked why more of it wasn't burned, he said he didn't know. Court recessed for the day around 4:30 and will resume at 8:30 Friday morning. So now I don't understand why Krystal didn't have... Somebody said that Krystal wasn't feeling good, right? This morning or something, and Patrick wasn't feeling good, and court didn't start till 10:30 or something. Did you hear that? But I thought she was back on the stand. Let me see if there's something else. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Maybe, yeah, here it is. Okay. Krystal Kenney. Oh no, she was set to retake what happened. As Krystal continues her testimony, a prosecutor in the case talks with her about the plea deal she made to be sure the jury understands the situation. Kenney confirmed the deal is she pled guilty to a felony charge of tampering. She's required to remain silent about the case except under oath and faces from 0 to 3 years in prison when sentenced. The sentence could be probation as well. Under questioning from the defense, Kelsey is told She pled guilty to the lowest level felony in Colorado. While not admitting guilt in cleaning up the crime scene, getting rid of belongings, and destroying possible evidence, Kenney said she did not. The defense said any of these could have involved a sentence of 18 months in jail. The attorney also mentioned there were no charges related to potentially bringing a poisoned coffee to Berreth, which he says could be considered attempted murder. Kenney did bring a coffee to Berreth that was not tainted with drugs. Attorney Adam Steigerwald points out Kenney never took the opportunity to warn Berreth about Frazee and what he was trying to do, that she never said anything to her husband, police in either state, or her family. He's raising doubt about whether Frazee truly had so much power over her to maintain her silence and cooperation as she's testified so far. For 2 days, this horrible mess just sits in Kelsey Berreth's apartment, and you don't tell anyone about that, Steigerwald says? You brought a hairnet, you brought a box of rubber gloves, you bought shoe covers, you brought a suit, you brought cleaning supplies, he says, questioning her about the level of preparation made before the long drive from Idaho to Woodland Park. Throughout a long rehash of all the things Kenney admits she's done and the lies she's told, Steigerwald asked her if she said the truth at all in the 10 hours of testimony she provided. Kenney replies yes. He says it's what she needed to say to avoid prison. At this point, Steigerwald ends his questioning. On redirect by the prosecution, Jennifer Veman asks Kenney if she knows that abandonment is a defense under Colorado law. This is in relation to the 3 solicitation for murder attempts that Kenney says she ultimately backed out of. Kenney confirms she only spoke to law enforcement during a visit to her home before she finally felt they would believe her and felt safe from Frazee. She also says she never told anyone she did not want anyone else to be entangled or in danger. Kenney said she intentionally left spots of blood and other evidence because she wanted to be caught. Veman says, is the truth that Patrick Frazee killed Kelsey Berreth? Kenney says, yes, I believe so. Veman says, did he tell you he killed Kelsey Berreth? Kenney says, yes. Veman says, did you kill Kelsey Berreth? Kenney says, no. Veman says, were you even in the state of Colorado on November 22nd? Kenney says, no. Oh, there's Deb. Hi, Deb.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Well, we were just going over this testimony. So
Yeah, what do you think?
So she was sick at first and didn't get on the stand till like 10:30 or something? Is that what happened?
Not so much. I mean, she was there. She was there on time. It wasn't delayed because of her. It was Patrick that delayed things this morning, and apparently he was sick and having some stomach issues. But then I believe the judge did say that she wasn't feeling well either. And so he offered trash cans to anyone else in the jury that might be feeling
Nauseous?
Yeah, nauseous or wheezy, whatever it is that was going around. But yeah, it was interesting. Made us wonder. Is Tom here? Tom, are you here?
I am here. I am right there.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening, Carolyn.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Deb's got a very nice perspective about the events today, and I think we can summarize also where things are.
Okay, go ahead. Take it away, Deb.
Oh, that's not fair. I like what you were reading. It's great information. What were you thinking about what you were just reading? How about the new testimony from the 2 teenage ranch hands and all of that? What did you think about that?
I don't know. I'm wondering where that trash can is. Where's the scrap metal yard? When did they find it out? Did anybody look at surveillance footage for that to see if they indeed brought scrap metal? Are there any invoices that would show that they brought that type of metal there? You know, did any of that get discussed?
Yeah, we didn't see any documentation per se from the scrap metal. There is that waste management receipt in that packet of paperwork that was found on his TV stand with all of that other conspicuously.
Right, because a lot of that they get even a little bit of money for like scrap metal, right? Because the scrapper guys. So there should be no, not in Colorado.
No, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you said no, they don't. Okay, so there should be some paper trail even in their office, maybe. I mean, I'm just wondering if anybody looked into that.
We didn't see any receipts of it so far, but there were those two individuals that testified that that's what they did, and they took it there to the scrap metal in Colorado Springs, and then they did the trip to waste management, which that was, I guess they had surveillance out there. They had people, law enforcement that saw them actually doing it, and then they had the receipt from that. So maybe they'll present that more. But so you're saying that you're not sure you believe those two guys?
Well, I'm always looking for the facts. Show me the facts, because you could say a lot of things and you don't have facts to back it up. It doesn't mean much, right? So, I don't know who these ranch hands are, if they have a loyalty to Patrick, if they don't have a loyalty to him. Like, when did they come forward with this? How was this found out? I'm always digging for details.
Yeah, so they came today with their parents because they were underage at the time. I believe one's 18, maybe one is still underage, or both are 18. But they worked for a short period of time with Patrick. They started, I'm sure you just read this, in July, and it ended
in August.
November.
And the
One
other
of them
one, in August.
September, yeah. So they had a short period of time. I'm not sure what type of bond they had, but there was a question by Dan May to one of them at the end of the testimony to say, was the trash can there? Are you lying about the trash can?
Yeah,
did you load the trash can? Yes. And do you still like Patrick? Or,
would you lie to get Patrick in trouble? I think they said to one of them, no, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he said that, and it was something to do about liking Patrick anymore.
Oh, okay.
And the guy he said, he was shaking his head no at the same time. And then there was an objection, and it was sustained, but still it was out there, and the kid did not seem to have a liking to Patrick. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's they both testified that they did what they did. One brought the trowel out.
The trough.
What do you call it? Trough?
I think it's a trough.
Brought the trough out. There was a fire. They weren't there for the fire, and then afterward they put it away. It was empty, and the result of that burn, Patrick said, was in that new trash can. It had a lid on it. They didn't see the contents. Patrick told them that it was shedding the antlers.
Right.
And the guy was disappointed by that because he wanted those. Anyway, they both testified that they loaded it.
Now, I'm wondering about the antlers.
For me, where did that truck go? And what day was that? Neither one of them could clarify. It was around Thanksgiving. I can't remember. Did you read that? Were they able to clarify?
No, I didn't
what
see
day
it.
that
No, but you know what I'm saying? Is there a significance to the antlers? I mean, is there something with the antlers being that it's a I don't know. Was it put in there purposely because of the makeup of it? I don't know. To say if somebody found something that like a bone, I don't know. I'm just saying, why put the antlers in there?
It's another one of the decoys. You're absolutely right. He's doing that decoy thing again, just like he did when he covered the burn site with the dirt. He's saying there's antlers in there, so if they were to peek and see something, antlers, you just don't burn. Tom will tell you, if you don't burn antlers, they won't burn. It's like it's bone,
right?
Basically. And so, he's doing that in case they do see that there is that type of material in there, and
maybe he told the boys that too, if the boys saw something.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. They said they didn't see anything.
But in case they did, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, in case they did.
That it was antlers, that burned the antlers.
Yeah, and I don't know, why would you burn the antlers when you have so many dogs on your property and it's actually a great thing for the dogs to chew on?
It's weird,
some
but I guess
calcium
he had to cover his
and-
tracks, it seems, so he wanted just to say that, oh, if you see anything in there, it's antlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wish we knew what day that was
But the
that
other
they're talking
thing,
about.
yeah, I know, but the other thing they said was that he didn't have fires there ever before that they saw, and there was other burnable trash,
Mm-hmm.
right? So why did
Yeah,
they have a
because
fire that day?
they just organized the whole ranch. She just cleaned up and gathered and stacked and organized it all. Especially when she came back with the law enforcement, she said it didn't look like this before. It was, it's been cleaned up. It's been organized. Those kids did that. They know what was separated for the burn pile, but nothing in the burn pile was gotten to. But something was burnt, and it was significant that Patrick described it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was so big that he had to cap it with the tin roof, and that his mother came out and yelled at something out to him, and they saw it, and and one of them testified to say that yes, you can see it's her, and you could hear her voice. If it's you can hear and see each other from that distance. And the other one wasn't quite sure about the hearing, but you could kind of see. Anyway, it just was placing off Frazee that she saw the fire.
Right. Yeah.
So was that the 24th? Because they really
Well, someone's saying
said, well,
here
it
was
the next day, or how? Tell me what it said in the news, because I only saw what
okay, but someone's saying here it was the day Patrick met his brother. His brother testified he saw the two boys, but that doesn't mean that was the day that they did this burn, because they were still working there. And that was December 5th, and that would have been way too long. Didn't he give the phone over on December 5th with his brother? I think so.
Yeah, what is his brother doing there?
Yeah, well, that was the day. You're saying the 20, who's saying the 24th? They're saying the 24th? Somebody's saying the 24th, Lily's saying the 24th.
So if it's the 24th, what time did the boys load up the new metal trash can with the so-called ashes and antlers in it? What time was that? Was that dark?
I mean, I'll go back and look at the article and see if I see anything about
Okay,
that.
because it's important, because on the if it's the 24th, on the 24th, he drove back to Nash Ranch that evening, and he was up more by the road where that dumpster is, and that would be huge. But if it's the 25th, we need to get those cell phone pings. We haven't seen them. So that would tell us, where did he go? Where did his cell phones ping? After they loaded that, what did he do? Because I can't imagine he spent a lot of time with that in the back of his truck. So he must have done something shortly thereafter, loading that night, that day.
Okay, hang on a second. This one. So yeah, it says, let's see, he questioned them. Okay, they started in the summer of 2018, and what they did, I'm trying to see if they give a date. Richie said after Thanksgiving, he saw the pallets burned and saw Frazee near the fire. He said Frazee burned a few shed deer antlers. So now Richie is saying after Thanksgiving. And the fire got about 13 feet high. He did not know if he smelled any accelerants. Richie also said there was a silver galvanized metal trash can a few feet away that he'd never seen before that day with a lid on it, and that it was 45 to 50 pounds. So that's all he says is after Thanksgiving. And that's what, yeah.
So that means maybe the 22nd and then the 24th, because I remember they talked about it burnt. The fire was something that went on overnight. So
Right.
then the Krystal came.
Well, he mentions that he touched the trough, right? And it was warm to the touch the next day. And by the afternoon, so it was afternoon when they had to move it, it was finally a normal temperature.
But what was the fire that they had with Krystal then? Because Krystal was there on the 24th.
Right.
So was it 2 days after Thanksgiving? Was this the 24th that they're talking about?
He's just saying, all he says is after Thanksgiving. That's the only thing I see in this, after Thanksgiving. And then the other thing I was going to say is that, he says he moved this trough, the one that had the bottom out of it, right? This rusty trough.
Mm-hmm.
He moved it by the dog kennels. Is it by the dog kennels? Did they find it?
No. No,
Okay.
it's wrong. I don't know. I don't think so.
We
haven't seen any photos of it.
Okay, because that's what he says. He said he loaded it on a trailer bed, and they brought it over to where the dog kennels were.
So they haven't recovered it. It must have been inside the trailer, but law enforcement, I'm sure, searched the trailers. So he might have transported and moved it by the time they had the search.
I'm trying to.
It could be over in Nash Ranch somewhere.
Let's see.
Could be. I don't know how you dump one of those things. It could. He probably. Did they say that?
I'm trying to find it. Yeah.
It was one of the things that they did to the metal at the
Okay, here's what he said. He said Frazee asked him to move a rusty metal trough from an area north of the house closer to the dog kennels. That's the same area where Krystal Kenney said, oh, wait a second. Listen to this now. So no, they were moving it for the burning. Listen, that's the same area where Krystal Kenney said Kelsey Berreth's body was burned. He also identified several other items, so he had him move that trough to where they burned the body.
Yes. So one guy, he moved it out there, then the other one showed up afterwards, and they moved it together.
To the scrap place?
Instead of putting it, they put it inside the trailer. So it was concealed in the trailer. Now, law enforcement didn't find it in the trailer, then that suggests that he did something in the meantime and got rid of that trough. But the guys are saying that.
Oh, here's it. He put right. He said he put the trough in the back of a nearby cattle trailer that day, and that they picked up a lot of trash around the property that day. He said they took that trash to the Divide waste station either that day or the following day, but they did not take that silver trash can that was in the back of Patrick's truck. And then it says, Richie says he cleaned up around the trough after moving it and used a magnet bar to pick up 100 to 150 nails from the area. He also said in the few months he'd worked at the ranch, he did not know of any fires. He said in the morning the trough was warm to the touch, but was normal temperature by afternoon.
Mm-hmm. But what day was that, and how many fires did they have? Did he start burning Kelsey's body on the 22nd and then continue to burn it on the 24th, or did they do all of this on the 24th and then it was cool?
I think it would have been
or was it
on the 23rd. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it would be on the it's got to either be on the 23rd to the 24th because it burned overnight, it seems, right? Or the 24th to the 25th.
Yeah, because they put it away, and if they put it away, that means the burning was done, and Krystal said that she was there and she saw the fire and she described everything. So it had to be the 24th.
Right, if you take her timeline as real, right, the 24th, then it had to be, yeah.
Yes, he could have already started it burning the day before, and then it was before that it finished, and he cleaned it up, and that's when they loaded up the ashes in the garbage can and put it on the truck, and then that's when he drove to Nash Ranch in that area. Trying to figure out, I don't know.
But
That's
I mean,
really
this
huge
Divide scrapyard, I mean, okay, they took it, whichever one they took it to, because they went to Teller County Waste, and they went to a scrapyard in Colorado Springs. Now, I want to know, did they bring in a trough? Do they have any cameras at this place? Now, did anybody go and ask for CCTV footage? Do they have any paperwork?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that trough is over on Dave Nash Ranch somewhere. Because that's a big hump. You take that into a one of those metal, what is it called?
Scrap
things
yard.
that you take them in, you can, a scrap yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be remembered.
Yeah, that's what I
I
mean.
mean,
So and they'll have paperwork, and somebody will have paperwork for it, because they get a price for it. And I'm sure if those boys were working for Patrick, they had to be accountable, right?
And they said that they did go to the scrapyard, but they didn't take that. So perhaps he never did take that to the scrapyard, or he did a second trip, or he took it somewhere else. He could, I don't know, if they searched his entire property, he could have hid it on somewhere on his property. He has a lot of acres. Or he could have driven it to Nash Ranch and hid it there. It seems like a big chunk of spindle to hide, right?
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, just the bottom's out, but it has, the sides. It's a substantial piece of metal, right? So it would weigh a good amount, and I think it would be pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
Even by the workers in the yard, they had to crush it, or however they, whatever they do with that metal, and I don't know the process after they get the scrap metal, what they do, whether they compact it or whatever, but I'm sure it probably remembered by someone.
Yeah.
They're just, but I do see that the defense asked Krystal the questions that we were asking, right? About
believe it must have been listening to your show last night, wasn't it?
It seemed like it, right?
You want to know what else is so crazy about court today, and it just, because everything you were talking about last night happened in trial. You saw it. But then I'm sitting next to one of your fans in court today. She's like, wait, because we're chit-chatting and talking about the group. She's like, wait, are you Deb? Were you on Mommy's show last night? I'm like, Mommy Rambling? Yeah, you're a fan? Yeah, me too. Oh my God. It was so funny. You were very present today in the courtroom.
Who was it? Was it Sunflower Brown?
Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name right now.
Oh, okay.
But she loved. Yeah. Oh, she was.
I'm
great.
trying to think who lives near there.
Yeah, I said, why aren't you going on and talking to Mommy about your experience here? It would be so great for you to get up there and fill her in.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, whoever you are, tell us. And come on and tell us. But yeah, I thought that's what we were just reading now was about Krystal Kenney. And yeah, he asked her, he said, so the crime scene stayed that way for 2 days, and you just had to happen to have all this stuff, these coveralls, these booties, gloves,
Yep.
Yeah. So how was she shaken up by his questions? Was she getting, or was she just?
Let's just talk about all the things that we talked about that ended up being clarified or brought up again today.
Okay.
So there was the booties, like you just said, with the medical gear, that she still just claims that she was painting a painting project and she had those things on hand at home. 2 thumbs down. We don't believe that. But then remember the time frame, we were discussing that. She was saying that she left around 11 and she got there the next day. But then today she clarified and said she left around 9:30 and got to Idaho at 11, because remember we were questioning, she has to be driving 75, 80 miles an hour consistently.
So she's saying, how long did it take her to drive 800 miles?
So she changed her time on that because you brought it up. What else? Oh my goodness. Oh, remember we were talking about how she was talking to Patrick and saying, I can't kill Kelsey, but use me for what I'm good for. And she was making it in a terminology of she's just good for thing. The poor pathetic her that was identifying with Kelsey. She can't do anything right. She's not doing anything wrong. She just can't do anything right. All of that. Well, so she tiptoed around that again today, and she almost admitted that what she meant by use me in a way that I'm good for meant I'll be your cleanup girl, because she was like, the prosecution was like, what do you mean when you say that? Well, what are you good for? I'm good for cooking. I'm good for babysitting. I'm good for cleaning, you know, and then she would say again, cleaning, but she wouldn't say cleaning a murder scene. Just burning around all of that. So you're right, maybe those solicitation charges aren't so solid, and maybe things are leaning a little more towards the murder now. You know,
Right.
Perhaps they did partner in some way, but it's hard to get out of the murder. There's more evidence coming forward that's suggesting more and more that Patrick likely did it. Whereas before we didn't have this information, so much evidence has come out, even though it's circumstantial, there's a lot of it. Whereas before we couldn't imagine how it could happen, how he could be convicted for murder because there's no body, no weapon. But now we see all this evidence, things are switching. It's not so sure about the solicitation, but murder might be a possibility now. Don't you think? What we're saying.
Maybe if I hear a little more about what came forward, but let me see. I'm trying to see what she said because I had just gotten into that. So it said, then went through the defense. He asked her all about, like, how did you have all that stuff? Kenney described to the court how the blood looked when she arrived to help clean up the scene and was covered in blood at Berreth's home. She also said it took her about 4 hours to clean the blood and that she used cleaning supplies already in the home. As each photo was shown, showing different parts of Berreth's home, Kenney explained how she cleaned things and what she did during the 4 hours. Kenney said she bagged up trash, bags filled with her own clothes, after she was done cleaning, along with some of Kaylee's toys, books, and other items, said she could not remember. Kenney said she went to Frazee's home afterwards and spent 3 to 4 hours there before returning to Berreth's home to send a text using Berreth's cell phone. Next, the court saw body camera footage from December 21st last year when Kenney took police to the Frazee Ranch and led them to Nash Ranch, where she said the trash bags and the black tote were burned in a fire. And Kenney described in the video what the container looked like, a black plastic tote with clasps and a hinged lid. She also points out to investigators where Frazee's truck was parked and where he unloaded the tote the night the evidence was burned. Kenney said she was present when Frazee started the fire. The video was paused for a 5-minute jury break after Judge Sells said he received a report of someone drawing a sketch. Prior to the trial starting, Sells denied the use of a sketch artist. The man was called up to the stand and said he was just doodling, but the judge directed deputies to rip out the sketches from the man's notebook. His notebook is returned to him, but Sells says he is keeping the pages until after the trial, and the man can ask for them afterwards. I don't want you drawing anyone in this courtroom, Sells said. He also said he will not tolerate any pictures of jurors or witnesses. The jury is brought back in, and more deputies enter the courtroom to keep an eye on the audience. The body camera footage is playing again. In the video, Kenney describes the wood pile area, pallets, logs, and scrap metal in the area. She says she got wood for the fire. Kenney told investigators took them to a trailer on the property where she said there's a red gas can Frazee used to accelerate the fire and used one match to light it. She said she left so she didn't see it after the burn. While Frazee was starting the fire, Kenney said his mother, Sheila Frazee, came outside and looked at the fire from the deck. She said Sheila came a little ways to look. At 12 p.m., court went to a lunch recess. Now, let's see. The court heard from a handful of police. Okay, so is that the end of her? Because then it brings us to...
Who wrote that? It's genius. It's really good.
It's from the Denver I think it's from... Wait, hold on. Let me see. Is it from... Which one is this? Oh, no, it's from Sam. I think it's Sam Kramer. No, it's Brenda Argueta. By Brenda Argueta.
That's great, because that's how it went. That was so crazy with the whole sketch guide. He was drawing
sounds it.
pictures. I guess he was drawing a picture of Krystal, and the judge just laid into him, and they were going through his his notebook, like it said, and they were really ripping pages, and wasn't one or two, it was like one after the next, after the next, after the next. Couldn't believe it, and the judge was so firm with him. Next time, if you do this again, you'll have 6 months in prison, or in jail, rather. And it was serious, and he also changed the decorum again. So only media can have their devices on, and when court's in session, anyone in the gallery is public. Anybody outside of the legal teams and the media, we have to have our phones turned off.
Okay, wow. But I don't see, I was expecting, you know what I was expecting? A little bit more of some aha moments. So there's no footage that they didn't ask her about where's the footage of you going in and out of the house cleaning up or anything?
I asked about that because I missed that one, and I did hear that on the 24th, the images were of Krystal.
There were?
But I should yes, I need to double verify it, but I was trying to catch up on notes, and I was told that those were with Krystal. Let me get back to you to confirm it, because I'm like you, I need to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tom said you have thoughts about, what were your thoughts on those guys and stuff?
Tom, what are your thoughts?
When you refer to the guys, it was the teenagers picking up the trash?
Yeah.
Yeah. Teenagers picking up trash. I doubt they were very observant. They're teenagers. And I'm not sure that their reliability. The idea that somebody could use a rake and a shovel and completely get all the remnants of a fire and put it into a one or two trash buckets, I just find that kind of hard to believe. We clean up fires around here, and it's several cubic yards of dirt. I mean, so it's just kind of puzzling how they separated out just enough for like a 50-gallon drum and 50 pounds. If that was full of dirt or full of soot, it'd be a lot more than 50 pounds. So it's just the physics of it just don't match up. Their observations don't seem to match up. But and if he has to get rid of soot like that, he would have taken it out to the Nash Ranch and buried it. I mean, but then again, I say, why the heck was he even burning a body? What was the point? What was the point in that? What was the? I mean, that was an awful lot of drama associated with it, and a lot of risks. I mean, somebody could have come along while that was going on. Not a good time for somebody to come along.
Yeah, but he
and
took
the
a
DNA,
lot of risks, right?
You would think it was all over. If it singed the pine needles, there would be DNA all over. And to my knowledge, they have never identified that they discovered any DNA other than a tooth without DNA or a tooth fragment without DNA there. So.
But he took silly risks, right?
I'm just not sure what to think about the fire.
Don't you think he took a lot of risks, like leaving that crime scene for 2 days before cleaning it up? She was coming down in a car with expired plates. There were a lot of risks he took. So maybe he thought burning it would, destroy as much evidence as possible. Didn't want to take the chance of burying the body and then them just exhuming it and finding, more evidence. So I think he thought by burning it, he was going to destroy it, the evidence, anything.
Well, he had available to him excavation equipment, so he could have buried a body really, really deep and covered it over really, really well. So, I mean, that was easy stuff for him, easy peasy stuff. So, I would always go with my strong suit, the easy one. I mean, he could have buried her 9 foot deep in 10, 15 minutes. Why go through hours and hours of a fire? But then again, maybe that's the new gig that we're doing. We're going to burn bodies up. I mean, They burned up that Saudi Arabian guy. Maybe this is the new way to get rid of evidence. I don't know.
Myself, I mean, and I've not killed anybody, and I don't plan to, but I would be scared to bury a body. I would think that they would come on the property, they would be able to find it. If someone said, should I burn the body or should I bury the body? I'd say, well, if you burned the body, there probably would be less evidence. I don't know. That's just me, because they could just easily find the body.
When you burn a body, you're creating a plume of evidence, because all those elements get heated up and they go flying around. You can't. I mean, they said he put some tin roofing on top of it, which can strain the heat and probably reduce the amount of distribution. But you don't bring it to zero. I found it hard that they couldn't find any. I mean, if there was a fire that big doing that much work, you would have thought they would have found stuff. Something. They would have found something. A piece of a sneaker, a piece of a bone. They would have found something more than just.
They found that tooth fragment, and so like what we were talking earlier is that so they found the tooth fragment. And they had that special testing, that consumptive testing done on it. We haven't heard the results of it. We did hear rumor that it possibly came back inconclusive. But that's still something, because it would make sense that it would be inconclusive, especially if they had such a high burning fire, that it would have destroyed all and any DNA. You pretty much need a pulp of tooth to be able to identify DNA, even mitochondrial DNA. But because the DNA was destroyed in the fire, we're not able to identify whose tooth it is. But it seems with all the circumstantial evidence that's come forward and all the testimony that corroborates it, that to suggest to find a human tooth in that burn pit, kind of to think who else's tooth could it be but Kelsey's, right?
That's a good point.
You just added in all that more circumstantial evidence. It's huge. It's huge. And then he's using that excuse of the sheds, those antlers. That's what's inside the garbage can in case they peek in, which probably resembles the bone. And he's setting.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing, even over a long fire, that they consume the bones. So that would make sense about saying, hey, they're antlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bone fragments. I mean that would make sense.
I think the other reason.
But I mean, at that point, then he's got to get rid of those. Then he's got to get rid of those, and maybe he buries those. I don't know.
Well, I heard that. I mean, I've heard.
He made it very complicated.
Yeah, but I think maybe he wanted to burn the body so that there would be no one finding it and doing an autopsy, discovering the manner of death, stuff like that. So he made it impossible for them to do that with the fire. Even if they, the cadaver dog hit or whatever, they still can't determine, the exact manner of death. They don't know whether she was hit with a baseball bat or she could have been hit with a pipe. I mean, they can't know that. So he did do some. I mean,
Carolyn, that makes really good sense. If he killed her with a gun, that's bad. Mm-hmm. If he kills her with a bat, he might be able to use the passion defense and get off with only just a few years served. So claiming a bat, with not having a body, you don't know how it was killed. So he can claim a bat and get off early.
Sorry to interrupt, but I don't want to miss this. But wasn't he exposed to a crime of passion? Someone that he knew that was close to him that got away with it because it was a crime of passion instead of. So he had learned that if you do use a bat, you would have less time if you were to use a gun. There was a case that he was close to that happened.
Yeah, that's right. When he was in his teenage years, that case was real close to him. It occurred right, essentially right around the corner, and everybody was talking about it. I mean, it was a nationwide case that you could get off with crime of passion. And the tip was whenever I was in the stable, they always hey, never shoot somebody, always claim it was a bat. So, it just goes the reason that they would say, hey, it was a bat, not a gun. I don't know how many times I've heard that. So, I get, maybe it's an urban, a rural legend.
Where'd you hear that, around a stable? Hanging around a stable? Did you say hanging around a stable? You
Pardon?
heard that? Did you say you heard that a lot, hanging around a stable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Guys talk. Hey, if you got to kill somebody, kill them. You shoot them, but claim it was a bat. So
Okay.
Guys talk.
Okay. So now Sunflower Brown heard what I heard, that I don't know where we heard this, but somebody said that he took those ashes and he put them in some type of a body of water, like a river.
Well, Krystal had said he put it in a river, or he would put it in a landfill or dumpster.
Right. I would think he put it in a river. Why would he put it in a, like...
Where is the river that he's going to do it, and he never pinged at any river? That's the only thing.
Deb pretty much proved, Carolyn, Deb went through a pretty exhaustive review of where he was over that period of time. Now, if he kept the trash can around for another week, maybe he did take a trip out to a river somewhere. But I think the story was he told, Krystal said he was going to dump it either in a body of water, or he was going to take it to the dump. Both are stupid solutions to that. Both don't even make sense. But
the river doesn't make sense to you?
That's what she said. So.
The river doesn't make sense to you?
Look, he has 4,000 acres that nobody can get to, that's landlocked, and he's got heavy excavation equipment, construction equipment that he can dig, bury, cover up, and nobody's ever going to detect it, find it, can see it, compass it. It's gone forever. On my ranch, I bury all kinds of stuff. I bury all kinds of things, not people.
Right? No, I know.
Nobody's going to.
I've seen it, but you can still see if something's been recently excavated, right? Can't you?
Yeah.
I could when they do it around
you
here.
You can see it if you do aerial. Within the first year, if you do aerial photography, yes, you can figure, and you know what you're looking for. You can figure out if there was excavation. So yeah.
See, and I would just say, okay, the river, like
Carolyn, you're familiar. We had aerial photography done at the Nash Ranch. You're familiar with that, right?
That you guys did, or there was?
Yeah. No, we did.
Okay.
We didn't fly the plane. There was a company we contacted, and they said they would do it. And they have Deb went up there actually to retrieve the film. Mm-hmm. It was a twin engine plane, specially designed. So it's a large firm. They cover the entire Western Hemisphere. Really cool dudes, really cool people. I showed them where we needed to have the photography done. They put it on their computer. They got back with me. I said, hey, that would be a great path if you could do it. They flew the plane up there. They made 2 passes, flew it back, processed it. Deb ran up to the hangar. She got this memory stick. These images, Carolyn, mm-hmm. Each image is as big as a Netflix picture. There's 14 images. Each one is as big as a Netflix movie, They're half-gig photos. These are fantastic. They're 2-inch resolution. I can actually see the furrows between where a grain drill went. So we identified 6 locations at the Nash Ranch where we see this excavation. In other words, before the murder, there was no excavation. After the murder, there was an excavation. And so we identified those 6 places. Deb got it in the hands of the United States Attorney for Colorado, and she personally made sure it got in the hands of Dan May, the prosecuting attorney, prosecuting DA in Teller County. And it also got in the hands of the FBI. And what they're doing with it, I don't know. It was a 60-page document, full color photos, rationale, where the excavations were, what we identified. But to your point, if you know what you're looking for and you can get the photography work, yeah, you can do it. I don't think Patrick ever thought we could go get. You can't fly a drone up there. You can't legally fly a drone. You can't even get a drone high enough to get the pictures you need. So, well, yeah, you have to get to a certain height in order to get the right view. It's whenever you do a housing development, roads, pipelines, you always have to do these surveys. Mm-hmm. And doing a drone flight doesn't get you there. You have to get to a high enough point to. Otherwise, it distorts the picture too much. You're too low. Okay. I mean, if you're just looking over one little spot, yeah, but we were looking over an area of about 14 acres, and so you had to be a little bit higher.
Okay, now Sunflower Brown just gave the name of a body of water. Let me just see if this sounds familiar to you. She says the Platte River runs through Woodland Park down the street from the Frazee property. Are you familiar with that?
I don't know of any rivers that run anywhere near near Fluorescent.
So
I mean, there might be a creek. I mean, there's a big difference between a creek and a river.
Yeah.
So I don't know of any bodies of water or rivers that people exhaustively looked at all these things. I mean, social media is a really, really cool place, and these people really went to the limit looking at all these different lakes. How could somebody get to it in December, essentially, because that was when it was. How could you get to it in December?
Platte River is up where I went fly fishing. You know the photos, Tom, that I sent to you? That's over up in Hartsville. Yeah. That's up in Hartsville. He will have the ping there, and he only pinged over Lake George and all of that area on the 23rd. So on the 24th, he wasn't anywhere near where Hartsville, where Platte River is. It's near his house, but it's you have to keep going way down the interstate to get to it. He didn't ping there.
Could he put it in Lake George? Is that a lake? Could he have put it in there?
Yeah. No, where he.
So that Lake George is very hard. Unless you have a boat, it's very hard, and that's his wintertime. Nobody's out there on a boat. It would have been difficult to access. I mean, there's no bridges across it. There's no long piers going out. I mean, it's a great place for fly fishing there, but I mean, he wasn't going to wade out, a few hundred feet in the water to dump a trash can.
Yeah, but Krystal said they retrieved her body on the 24th, but he was near Lake George area. He was up towards that direction to Hartsville that comes back down towards Gussie, where Slagle is. That was the 23rd, but he couldn't have gotten rid of her remains because he hadn't burned it yet. Because Krystal was there on the 24th when they burned it. So if there's other bodies of water, there's the seven lakes, the 8 lakes over by the Nash Ranch, but he could have taken it over there because that's where he pinged, but it didn't really have him going in to where the lakes were that evening. He was more up by the road. So we have a video where we followed the pings, and there's a video of it, so you pretty much can just take the drive and you can see the scenery, and it points out what creeks, what mountains, major landmarks, so you can get an idea of what and where he was when he was pinging. If you guys are interested, it's pretty telling, and you can see where the water is. It points out and how far away it is from where he pinged.
Yeah,
very telling.
I don't know. I just go with water. Not being able to find it. I mean, water it can hide a lot of things, especially if you have moving water. But if you have a big lake too, and it goes down and it gets in that muck on the bottom or whatever, way, way, way out deep, yeah. I don't know how you would ever find anything.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Throw it in a pond. You're not going to get into it. You have to drain a pond, and it takes a lot of work, and you would have to know that it's there. But a pond, yeah, you're right. Water is a good place to.
I mean, that's what if I say, somebody said, should I bury something or should I put it in the water? I'd say, because it's going to wash it away. Put it in the water. It's going to be much harder than going and excavating something. I just think, if someone's trying to hide something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, excavation's easy. I mean, you back up, you put your backhoe down, and you dig 6 or 7 or 8, 10 scoops, and you're done. I mean, toss in whatever it is, backfill over it.
Yeah, but I think it's just as easy to
I mean,
pull it
I
out.
have, Carolyn, I have excavators and stuff. I dig holes. If I had a choice, and I have boats, so if I had a choice, I would do, I would excavate before I'd ever throw it in the lake. Stuff floats in the lake. It just, you don't have control over it. By throwing it in the lake, you lose control. Patrick's a control freak. I stick it in a hole. He knows exactly where it is, where it's going to be, and he knows. And one key thing is if he ever has to trade it, and I always figured he has to have an ace. I mean, there's no cowboy who doesn't keep an ace. You always want to make sure you have an extra few bucks in your pocket. I mean, you got to have something.
Mm-hmm.
And trading a body, or even just remains, trading could mean the difference between him ever seeing daylight again or him getting off in 20 years. So he would want to be able to find that again. He would want to be able to, and excavation sticking in a hole would allow him to do that. It's a control thing. I just think that's where, but I mean, maybe it's just me. It's the engineer in me that thinks about that way.
I don't know. I always think water.
But we don't have a body. We don't have a body,
and the body, right?
And the defense. The defense is not playing their A game. In fact, the defense did not bring their game today. So it's almost like Patrick's on a glide path to prison at this point.
Well, Carolyn, if we do focus on the cell phone pinging, we stick to that. We have the experts come on to testify from Cass from the FBI. Those cell phone pings, he didn't realize until he ended up going down to Verizon and had that rant with them that he was being inadvertently tracked and he could be traced everywhere he went. If those boys today, if it ends up that what they testified to happened and it's all on the 24th, and they loaded that galvanized trash can, the new one, up into his truck that night, and they did the scrap metal one place, the waste management the other. I always thought that waste management was a great little diversion to make law enforcement think that that's where he dumps things all the time, so that's why they searched it. But their cell phone ping, 24th, that cell phone ping has him going back up there, where we also have another video of tracing that cell phone ping, and we drove and there was nothing around, and we realized actually there was a dumpster in the middle of nowhere. So it could be nothing, it could be something, but if what happened in today's testimony happened on the 24th and Patrick did something with those ashes on the 24th that evening, that's where he went that night. And so that's a lot of information. She was in his truck that night. They loaded it, and then he left. That's where he went that night, and he came back home, and he didn't go anywhere else until the next day. So, told you where he's been and where she might likely be.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of okay, let me just see one thing, because they're saying that these people live in Colorado, the ones that are saying this. The South Platte runs through Woodland Park and Florissant. So Sunflower is saying that there is a body of water that he could have put it in. But you're saying, let me see, and then she said it again. And they said Frazee isn't an engineer, he's a cowboy.
Which body are they thinking? Because like in the video, you can see where the bodies of water are on the way where he's
Which
singing.
body of water, Sunflower?
Yeah, because it's private property that you have to get through to get to it. And Tom, he could have buried that day, that night. He could have gone on the outskirts of Nash Ranch and dumped her somewhere. And done that same thing with equipment.
Sure could have, yeah.
The 24th is really.
I mean,
she could still be out.
I mean, it doesn't take much. If it's down to just charred ashes and bones, it doesn't take much to dump it out somewhere and then pour some dirt over top of it, or gravel, or some rocks, and consider it done. I mean, he had road grading equipment. He could have graded it into a road. Nobody's going to find it after. I mean, they're not going to even look for it. They wouldn't even know where to look for it.
I'm really curious, though, what body of water you guys are thinking, because body of water would seem like a good place to put it, but I just don't see where he pinged, how he just wasn't there. He wasn't out towards the water.
Yeah. And it's December too. We got to remember some of that water is already frozen over hard. And anybody that has docks, they pulled the docks up for winter. And as far as launching ramps and things, I mean, you want to get out into the water a little bit before you dump it. And there's just not access points. I looked at the water reservoirs around there, the lakes, the ponds. You have to get to it. You have to get to it in a way that's inconspicuous, and then you have to be able to dump it in a place where it's not going to be discoverable. And that combination just doesn't come. I mean, the best. I mean, there is a river. There are some rivers, but they're to the west, for quite a few miles to the west, that you would put something in that you would never find again. But I just don't see him in that part of Colorado.
He wasn't there, but even up by the road, there's water across the main road where he did ping, but that's all private property, so he would have had to go into someone's private property, which everything is barbed wire there, and he would have had to have access and gotten into their gate to go get to the water. There, I'll have to look it up. It's in the video, but there's these lakes that are rivers, these creeks that are some forms of body of water that's across the street from the main road where he pinged, but it's over behind the private property, so he would have had to been in cahoots with someone or been able to just go onto someone's private property. And they would
have observed him. He would have been observed.
Well,
But
what happened to the can in the back of his truck, and how come there's no footage of him anywhere with the can?
That's a good point. It's kind of hard to get rid of that can. Yeah.
Or even, when did he take that horse trailer to get rid of that trough? Because that trough wasn't there. If that trough was on the property when FBI searched it, they would have found it, and it would be accountable for right now. But it isn't. So he's done something there too.
It sounds like the kids took it to the scrapyard.
He had lots of time.
But see, to me, it's for reading what I read from that report, it sounds like the kids took that to the scrapyard. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, where are the receipts? Where's the CCTV footage? Where does anybody at the scrapyard remember a big trough without a bottom be brought in? What do they have to do to process this metal? I mean, they don't ask the right... it just infuriates me that nobody asked this. I don't know.
So just so I understand, the boys say that they took the trough to the scrapyard.
They said they put it in a trailer with a bunch of other trash from around, and they went to 2 different trash yards, yeah.
Okay, well then, there we go, yeah. So, it was scrapped. Yeah, but still, it's a big piece, and there would have been a chunk of change I've
got to read this because Sunflower is going crazy. Let's see. She says, the South Platte River down the road from his house, no docks. You go off the road and you dump it over the side. December. He ran cattle in winter.
But that's not really that close to his house, and he didn't ping there. And it's not that close to his house.
Yeah.
It's not close.
Could he have gone there without his phone? Could he have gone without his phone? Or shut his phone off?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he certainly could have. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Like, because Krystal brought out this water, right?
And that's not how close it is, because he was pinging, and not only was he pinging at home, but he was making calls as well. So it was great in that it was able to solidify that he was actually at home. and not leaving his cell phone behind. But let's go back and look at the timeline. I can do that. I don't know when I can do it actually, but go back, look at the timeline and look at the pings and see where he was and where he could have not had his phone with him and what day he could have after Thanksgiving. And after Krystal says they burned the body, so it had to be 24th or had to be the 24th. The 24th, he's not going in the direction of Platt. And pretty much he's accountable for through his pings and his calling text for that day. For almost the entire day, we can trace his tracks. I have maps if you guys want to. We traced his tracks and we mapped it as well, and along the path and when he pinged and what time it was. I don't see him over at Platte River, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
But I wish
Sharon, I'm
there's
so
a
sorry.
more sense if he had done.
I'm really sorry, Sharon. Oh my gosh. This has not been good days. Boy, I'm very sorry. One of our moderators' father just died. So sorry, Sharon.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah,
sorry.
You go, Sharon. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Please, we'll pray. Yes, everybody please pray for Sharon's dad and for their family. Please go, Sharon. I'm so sorry. Oh boy, it's been crazy.
Oh, Carolyn, I'm so sorry for your moderator. That's horrible.
Yeah, well, her dad was in memory care, and but it's still hard no matter what. It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a hard thing. Yeah, it's a big loss.
So I don't want to think that I'm arguing with her at all. I'm just so heartbroken right now. It's been such an emotional day, but so far I would like to see how close that Platte River is, and see if there's a possibility, a time for him to have just left his phone and scurried on over there. Otherwise, it's ping. We should look into that because that's a good idea. Good point. Oh, so sorry. It was really sad too today. It was a horrible day. Was when Krystal, you had talked about how she stepped in and the blood was dried in the house, and then she went to describe what the blood was, and the amount and the extent and the level. I mean, we got so high on a wall, she had to climb a chair to get to it. But Kelsey's father was sobbing the entire time, and it was just heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I read that. It's sad, very sad. So hard for them to be in the courtroom. Was her mom in the courtroom as well?
No.
No.
I don't blame her. I mean, he was double her. Horrible.
Yeah, it's sad. It's been, we've had, oh my gosh, just a lot of things, but can't believe Sharon's died. Her mom died during a chat too.
What?
Yes, her mom died like about a year ago, I think, less than a year ago. Probably maybe 6 months ago, and she got a cold feeling in her body, and she said, I'm going to go, and then she found out her mother died at that point, and then they recently put her dad in memory care, and she just said they just called, and they said he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Sharon's mom died in March, yeah. So, oh, poor Sharon. Well, prayers, Sharon. We're thinking of you, honey. We love you. Today's just been a horrible day. Oh my gosh. It's just all around.
Carolyn, I have to tell you that we're trying to figure out why on earth does Krystal have this sweet deal? Her testimony, how is it so worth for her to have such a sweet deal when she already implicated herself by having Kelsey's phone with her in Idaho, teaming together. Cell phone records had her and Patrick communicating back and forth. There's evidence that she was in Colorado on the 4th. She has people that lent her a car. Why did she get such a sweet deal when it was easy to pin her and attach her to this crime?
Because I, because I think.
Do you think she was pregnant? You're being sensitive to her being pregnant and buying into the whole victim role because she was pregnant.
No,
and that's why she was holding up that burqa, whatever it is, at trial.
But I don't. Yeah, but I don't think that was it. I think they had to sacrifice her in order to get him, because if they didn't have her testimony and they had no body, and she was going to say that this didn't happen, they had to sacrifice her to get him. They had to. Otherwise, they could lose everything, and they could have both got off.
Yeah.
So they had to sacrifice her to get the testimony.
Yeah, because right now a lot of her testimony does align with the evidence, and without her testimony, that evidence would have just fallen. It would have been worthless. She adds that extra oomph to it. So
right, they needed that, because if she didn't paint the scene, for them, and she was going and saying this didn't happen, I don't think it would have been good at all. I don't think they would have had a chance. They needed her to paint that scene. They needed her to give her testimony.
Do you still think she's pregnant a second time though? Or a third or fourth or fifth, but just kept
She definitely looked pregnant. Now, could she have had another abortion when she found this out? You know, how far along could she have been? Did she miscarry with the stress? You know, I don't know. It could have been a bunch of things. It definitely looked like she was trying to hide something in court in June. You know?
It does. She was hiding something. Why did, when you come into the courtroom, you set your things down, and then you go up to the podium, her attorney set her jacket down and her folders down. Why did Krystal still have that giant coat over her? And then she never let go of it. And then when she walked out, so supposedly she put it on and she didn't look pregnant with it on. I don't know.
It could be that, let me see if she would.
She was pregnant. I'm going to align with you with that. I think she was pregnant and she's had a child. I'm just going to go for it.
She could have had a child.
I'm going to go for it.
That she's hiding. She could have one that she's hiding. She could have also maybe said, oh, I can't have a baby with this man. I really think her youngest child is his. I don't know why, but I think the youngest child is his and not her husband's. But now this other baby, was there a baby born, or did she have a late abortion because she didn't want him to have a child with this man that was going to probably be in jail for the rest of his life. She I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But doesn't she seem like the mentality that she just did everything? I don't know. I think she wouldn't have aborted it this time. And why would she, if you're so big and you're covering it, that's too late. And that's horrible. That's even murder.
I agree. But I'm just trying to go by her and look what she did. So I'm thinking she doesn't have like the greatest moral compass.
And then everyone would call her murder. That's a touchy subject. We don't want to go there.
Right, but I don't know. I mean, she could have a baby that's out there, you know what I mean, that we don't know about. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
You really...
I mean, the woman
You're really thorough.
The woman that said she was pregnant said, like, she heard it on really good... That's the one thing, like, I normally don't believe any of that stuff, but the one that said she was pregnant had it on really, really good authority that she was pregnant back then. And then with her trying to cover herself up, I really believe she was pregnant. Now, what happened, I don't know.
Right. It just seems like there has to be another contributing factor for them to be so lenient on her. I don't get that. I understand that her testimony was just essential, but still, she had a dog. She didn't have a dog in the fight. She was done though. Why would they give her such a sweet deal if not for a minute that they actually truly believed that she was victimized in this situation? And by that, I can understand that there would be empathy if she was carrying a child at the time and feeling threatened and seeing this crime scene. But still, at the same time, I believe that she was in on helping him commit this murder, and she said she would use her for what she's good for, and so she committed to being the cleanup person. And I think committing to doing that is all that Patrick needs to go forward with doing it. If she would have just said from the get-go, I want nothing to do with any of this, I'm not going to help you with anything, he probably wouldn't have murdered Kelsey then, because he would have needed to find someone to help him, or he would have been on his own and less likely motivated to do it. I think she has to walk on that fine line and be very careful where she treads, because admitting that she was willing to be the cleanup lady would perhaps empower him a bit, and she didn't nip it in the bud, so she is highly, highly responsible. It would be hard to let her just get away with 6 months or almost no time, unless maybe she was pregnant and she wasn't thinking straight, and she was so scared.
Yeah, I don't think she was scared at all, okay? I don't buy that she's just trying to paint a picture that she was scared to make herself look better. It's damage control. Yeah, I don't believe she was scared at all.
What is with that search, crocodile, alligator? Is it crocodile tears and bye-bye, see you later, alligator? What was that about?
I'm wondering.
So random, that search.
Yeah, but I wonder that maybe, I remember someone saying something about was there any kind of animal refuge or anything up there where they could have gotten to an alligator or a crocodile and given in the remains?
That's the thing, is where we're from, yes, but not here in Colorado. There's no alligators, there's no crocodiles, unless you go to the zoo.
Right, but I'm saying, there's a place in Pennsylvania, and it's pretty, it's not, I have to tell you, the first time we went there, I was so scared when I went with my older kids, because it was seriously as if my, 2 older boys just got some land and opened up this animal wildlife park, and it wasn't like any big name, right? So, and they had all kinds of animals, and it's gotten bigger and bigger now, but there are alligators, there are crocodiles, there are bears, there are tigers, and it's the kind of place that somebody could get into, and somebody that knew something could easily get into and get into some. So is there any refuge like that in the area that they could have been looking for?
Yeah. Desperate of what to do with these bones that just won't burn. What can we do? Maybe she did that. But I think it's pretty well known there aren't any alligator or crocodiles here. They would have been better off searching, the mine shafts, or taking Kelsey's remains over to the fossil grounds where there's all kinds of fossils that would have blended in with all the other bones.
All right, hold on.
Or even on her way up to Idaho. There's this.
Who lives in
Colorado?
Colorado?
You heard of this place? This one asked you, but I want you to learn about Cisco real quick.
Oh, okay.
Cisco is a famous that she paints at, where people apparently, Tom will tell you this, where there's a lot of dead bodies dumped at. Like during the mob days, it's like a place to dump a body. So if Kelsey were to be dumped in Cisco, she would just be a bone or a human remain amongst other human remains. There's a lot, supposedly. Tom knows the history of that, and I only know that through him. But I get you. It could be that she was looking for one of those.
Allie Cattail said there is one, and she said there's a Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center right near Frazee.
Yeah. Yes, but there's no alligators there. Are there?
I don't know. Are there alligators there, Allie Cattails?
What?
She says there. Okay, hold on. It's even on the map of Frazee's House of Pings in Discovery. Oh, thank you, Lisa. There's wild animals up there. The South Platte River runs by the fossil beds.
Yeah, but they didn't ping there. Because I thought that too. I drove by there and I thought, oh my goodness, that would be a great place to scatter bombs. And maybe we should just we should do a live and let's revisit the ping.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys, it's sent. And we should maybe double check, go through with the fine tooth comb.
That's a weird search, and that's a really weird search.
Yeah, we just need to skirted that area even if it's a possibility because it does make sense.
Yeah, Julie's saying bears and mountain goats, and Allie says right on wolves. Sunflower said that. And now I know Allie Cattails is looking up exactly what's there. Wild boars or pigs will eat bones.
Now pigs won't eat bones.
Oh yeah.
Bears won't eat bones.
Pigs do. Pigs eat everything. That's why, what's his name? Tim Jones. Tim Jones used to tell his wife, "I'll kill you." Yeah. They said, "I'll kill you and I'll feed you to the hogs, and they'll never find a trace of you."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. Pigs eat everything. Everything.
Oh, I don't like pork. I only like bacon. That's my weakness. I'll eat bacon, but I won't eat a pork chop. Ugh.
Yeah, so that's another thing. And did he have any pigs on his farm, or he just had cattle?
No pigs. There's not a lot of pigs over here. We have buffalo, llamas, horses.
Allie said they have full moon feeding tours at that wildlife place.
It's so public though, guys. But yeah, there's water over there.
What if he knew somebody there? What if they knew someone there?
Yeah, they all know each other.
Yeah, and if it's anything like this place in Pennsylvania, that's really just run by a family, not by it's not by Great Adventure or Six Flags or anything like that. It's literally a family that if you want to go feed something to got something for them, all right, go ahead. I'll turn the other way. You don't know like what they could be doing. It's like he could say, what if he said something like, I got a dog that died or something like, what if he said something like that and, or I killed a fox or whatever. I'm just going to bring it up there and give it to your animals or whatever, right? And what if they said, yeah, go on in and throw it over, right? They're not going to think he's throwing a body. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What if he lied to them?
Yeah. The only thing is that because it's become so public, that person would probably, out of fear and concern, come forward. But you never know.
You never know. What if Patrick has stuff on them?
Right? Yeah, because it is a small town and that stuff happens, and he does have a past, from what we understand. And so does his brother. And there's connections to just seedy people.
And here's another thought that I just had, and this is a thought, okay? And this is probably because we lost our dog today. Our dog was a huge dog, over 100 pounds, okay? So human size. Mm-hmm. They cremate animals like that, okay? He had dogs, right? Evidently he you could say, okay, he buried all his dogs on the farm. But what if he knew of a place that cremated animals in the area that wouldn't question him if he had something wrapped up and just cremated it for him?
Yes, Tom will know that. There's a connection where one of his friends does have a link to a crematorium. I don't know the specifics Tom does. That's his research. Mm-hmm. And that is a possibility. And even if it was the 24th where all this was happening and he did ping up over there by the ranch, by the freeway, it was a perfect situation, perfect spot to pull over and meet someone and pass something over to, because he was there for such a short time. That person could have picked up and done away with with the rest of it and done what you said, the crematorium. And we would never ever see the remains ever again.
Right. No. It'll just be down to, just a small bit of ashes. That's it. Yeah.
I wonder if Tom fell asleep because he's late there, but there is a connection to that actually, and I'll remind him to speak of it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's, especially he had cattle and stuff, right? Okay. Like, yes, they could bury the cattle if you had an excavator. I mean, I have a farmer right down the road, and I'm sure if a cow dies or something, they bury it on the property. But there could be, being that he raised those dogs and it was a large dog, he could very well use the excuse that, no, this one was our pet and we want it, my mother wants it in an urn or whatever. And
absolutely. But I have a question for you. So you have a neighbor who does cattle,
mm-hmm.
and when the cattle die, do you know, what do they do? When the cattle dies and it collapses and it dies,
mm-hmm.
do they have to take their equipment and scoop it, and do they have a cattle graveyard where they bury them all, or do they just dig a hole next to where it collapsed and then put it in there?
They usually,
do you know anything?
Okay, yeah, I do. I know something. I know that
They generally bury it right there or burn
mm-hmm.
it. They either burn it or bury it right there.
Right, they bury.
Some countries require you to burn them
mm-hmm.
because of disease,
right.
but generally you bury it right there.
I know that he's buried big dogs on the land there. Even for like the neighbor, he's gone down with an excavator or something, and he's buried her dog that passed away on the property behind them because but yeah,
mm-hmm.
but if there is a crematorium, I mean, I don't want to get gross, but we lost 2 dogs in the time frame of 1 month, and our little one was a Westie, and we had to bring her right to the crematorium door, and literally it's up here, and I don't know how. Okay, up here it's very country. This is in the back of a funeral home, and it is actually they do animals and humans, not in the same but in the same facility. Okay. And when they came out, there's just like a garage door. It goes up. They put the animal on a table. They wheel her in. They say, say goodbye, whatever. But the animal's wrapped the way you bring the animal in. Okay. And then they close the door, and you see the oven, whatever the technical term is for it, and they're loaded into it, and that's it. So I imagine, like with this guy, again, if somebody knew this, like it's depending on so many things. Like if somebody had, like, hey, I got to, or maybe they even know what they're doing. I don't know. Depends how much somebody needs money, or somebody owes somebody a favor, or, I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened.
There's a lot of things that can happen. You're so right. I'm so sorry that you had to see that. I know when my mom passed away, for some reason, the funeral director thought giving me a tour of the facility was a good idea. It wasn't.
It's
I
hard,
didn't need
yeah.
to see some of the
Yeah.
But so what about this? We need to research a little bit more and try and focus on the themes and these possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do us much good to try to speculate and add more situations to the case when we haven't seen it and hasn't been presented.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm just trying to think, like, about this ash can that nobody knows about. Like, where did this ash can go? Where did it go?
To a dumpster. I see. Straight to a dumpster. Throw the whole thing in the dumpster, or just unload it. Throw the whole bucket in, or just pour it out. I don't see him keeping that garbage can, so.
Yeah, but do we have any CCTV of him
quickly
with it?
burying it and then dumping the thing. I can see that. Or the water, but still you still have that giant metal thing.
And
the
I
metal
wonder,
bin.
you know what I wonder, if it's,
and the hole is not big enough.
do you think it's magnetic? Because now this is going to sound really weird, because I don't know if they do magnet fishing up by you guys in the rivers and the lakes, but there's magnets that'll pull that thing out. And I wonder if anybody was magnet fishing in those lakes or rivers and ever caught a can like that. because they catch
Well,
guns
if
and
there is
everything
magnet
else.
fishing, I don't think you would put it in the water then. But magnet fishing is a big thing out here. It is a big thing, and I think you can do it. I'm not even going to try because the fishing laws here are very strict. But it is popular. I saw that you guys were doing the magnet fishing.
Yeah, and my husband hooked a bridge.
That was so cool. I read no, you actually caught things. I saw it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people that catch guns and stuff, and they have to call the police several times. They catch when they go off like off bridges. They come up with guns. Yeah.
Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I thought of you again today. You know, this is the third time today in court that I thought of you because of the magnet fishing. When you guys caught all those nails, and then the kids were like, "We did the magnet, and we caught all those nails." And I thought of you again when you guys did the fishing. So.
Yeah. So
just saying.
I don't
But
know.
you guys actually found guns.
No, we didn't, but you can see on YouTube people find them. Guns, cash boxes, like things from crimes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep. And they have to call the police. You know, they call the police. But that's something now, you know, like with all these YouTube channels, well, think about if somebody went in there and pulled out this ash can or something, right? And it's on a video somewhere in the area. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, I mean, there's lots of possibilities. But where is that can? Is it ever on CCTV? And then again, where are these receipts from these waste managements? Because anybody that works for anybody else, like even when my guys were there in construction and they bring something to the dump, I want the receipt because I want to see when I'm paying, I want to see that they went to the dump and they didn't dump the stuff off the side of the road somewhere, right? And then just tell me, oh yeah, it was $100. So somebody that's on top of it is going to ask for that. So where is that? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not with that packet with the other receipt. And why isn't it with the other receipt, the waste management receipts in that packet? So why wouldn't the scrap metal receipt be in there as well? You're absolutely right. But then again, we have to weigh that two individuals did testify that they went there themselves, and they weren't willing to perjure themselves so much as their parents were even there. But yeah, it's tough. You would just think that the defense would maybe just argue this a little bit more.
I don't know why they didn't ask. I mean, I don't know why they didn't ask. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, you know those
because
ash
I think
cans?
we were expecting the defense to have some aha moments, and there was
Absolutely, and those ash cans, Jimmy, are they magnetic? If somebody put like just some kind of a big like kind of ash can, almost like the one we have the bird seed in or something, but is that magnetic?
Yeah.
It's magnetic.
I'll go check to be sure right now.
So where is that ash can? I don't know. That's just weird.
You're so lucky. My husband goes to sleep. Like, so right now, I'm up. He's asleep. I would love him to be up to ask some questions. You have the best husband in the world. I mean, I have the best husband in the world, but your husband is super, super good.
Yeah, sometimes he goes to sleep early.
You're like a little power couple. I love it.
I was falling asleep and then I heard that.
He was falling asleep, but he heard we had an emergency thing because it's, I don't know, the test of the emergency broadcasting system woke him up. Oh my gosh.
I feel like he's worried about you because you just lost your beautiful puppy. Is this the one with the kidney issues?
Yeah, I lost my Westie. Yeah, I lost my Westie in my arms on October 2nd, and today we lost our American Bulldog. That was sudden. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I can tell because I watch you enough, and I know you guys enough. You guys are like a little show on yourself. You don't realize it. But he's hovering over you because I think he's concerned about you because you lost your dog today. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, he was really upset. It took us completely by shock that the vet would call and just say your dog passed away. You know, it was very shock. Very magnetic, he said. Very magnetic.
If you had one of those magnets, they would pick it up easy.
So
Is he saying that Deb is right?
It's snowing out there still.
Oh, it's snowing still?
Two plow trucks.
Is it snowing by you, Deb?
No, it's melting finally.
Oh.
But oh my goodness, it's dark when we get out of court, and that drive is just horrible. It's the worst. And I was so tired today.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried I would fall asleep on the drive home. I didn't, but oh my goodness. Would you just please come out and just ride with me? If even that would help. Come out, Carolyn.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's.
Can you imagine you have so many fans here?
Yeah, I know it would be, but I would probably get very aggravated. Like, ask her that, ask them that. You know, like, I don't know, where's the receipt? I don't know. It'd be funny if they called them back and asked them about the receipts. Then we'll know they're watching. Yeah.
You're gonna like the evil eye and Patrick too, all of them. I know.
I don't know.
I wish.
So many questions. It's like, yeah, I'm so many questions because that's just the way my mind works. It's like there's so much now, and you know, beyond technology, like I said, you have these like just crazy things that can happen, like people magnet fishing, people, you know, I mean, people find stuff, people know stuff, somebody somewhere saw something, you know.
Yeah. Well, do you think, so let's just take it like a sandwich, one bite at a time. So let's just take a few bites out and we'll just sit them out in the garbage and be done with it. The Krystal, her sob story, we're not buying it. Do we agree that she's minimizing her role and that
Oh yeah.
even tiptoeing around to suggest that she was willing to be the cleanup girl? And so do you think that the jury is picking this up? And do you think that maybe there might be some risk to the solicitation charges because of that? We want to hear it as the public. We want her to have accountability. But for her case, for Patrick's case,
yeah, I think they're going to see that she's minimizing it, and right, but I think that I don't know if it's going to be enough to minimize her, you know, to void her plea deal.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What about his solicitation, though? Do you think he'll be charged?
Oh, I think
solicitation?
I think so. 3 times that he solicited, and then wasn't it even 4 times? Because didn't he try? Oh, she tried to get, or we don't know why she really talked to that person. It's not been defined for us, right? Just that she talked to a friend on the wrong side of the tracks or something, but we don't know that it was a solicitation of murder or anything.
Can we look at it this way, that even though ultimately she ended up acquiescing and being willing to be the cleanup person, nonetheless, before that, he did solicit her to kill Kelsey 3 times, which was not successful, but that was a solicitation, even though all of that resulted in her becoming willing to be the cleanup girl instead of being the murder girl, because she couldn't do it. Is that?
You know, but I have to tell you something. Whenever you tell me that, because I didn't read that, so I hear it from you, and the first thing I think of is not the cleanup girl. I don't know if the chatters will agree with me. When she says, use me for what I'm good for, I think sex.
Yeah, I feel like she was playing that card the first day, but I wasn't picking it up. I was like, no, you're not going to play me for a fool. You're not talking about sex. You're talking about you admitting and being willing to be his cleanup girl. That you played more of a part and a role in this. And you guys were in this together. You planned it. And you were like, she wasn't capable of doing the killing part. And that was her way of trying to give us a mental, where she could play the martyr and be the victim and use those words. But all the while, it really means what it means, which she kind of tiptoed and clarified today, is that she was the cleanup girl. So he's the murderer. They've been trying to do this. She was unsuccessful with doing the murder. So she agrees to be the cleanup girl. He takes matter into his own hands. But that means when he called her to come out for Thanksgiving, she knew he was in murder mode
Mm-hmm.
and that something was going to happen. And she didn't do anything, and she didn't come out. But she said, you can do the murder, and I'll come out for the cleaning. And he's like, okay, I did the murder, and come for the cleaning. And then she took her time to get out, and she's playing this martyr role. Well, it's just not working. And she's one or the other. She's walking a fine line.
Yeah, but I think,
Right?
remember what you said yesterday, that Patrick said that thing about, and everybody was like crazy, that she needed a good rotting, right? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm doing it.
when you put that, and I've never in my life heard that term, but when you put that with what she said, it fits to me that she's talking about sex.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like she thought she wasn't successful with killing Kelsey, and what do we need to do to fix it? You need a good rotting. And then now she's like, well, just use me where I'm good for. So.
See, because I
But
don't
then
know
she
if I
was
just took it
saying-
like, oh, the roast isn't seasoned, the kid's not changed right. You know what? You're the only thing you're good for is sex, kind of thing.
Mhm. That, and so the prosecution asked her, so what do you think he meant, or what do you mean when you say what you're good for? And she was defining those things, and she said, and they were even suggesting babysitting, cooking, cleaning, and then it was cleaning again, you know, the cleaning. Yes, cleaning, but yeah, cleaning murder scenes too. But yeah, I get it. The sex too. That was in her mind. I'm not sure if that was in his mind. She was a horn dog for him. But he was doing it too because she's pregnant, so.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
I think that's what he used, like, you know, it was a friend with benefits for him. So, yeah, he'll just get, you know, off, and he's not going to worry about, you know, any commitment to her or whatever, for whatever reason. You know, so.
Yeah, he never did commit to her. You know, he would have a good time with her, and then he would stop calling. And then they wouldn't talk for months, and they can reconnect some way, and they'd hook up again. And
They
then
go
he
to a motel or something, right? Didn't they go to a special motel and just for sex, and then, yeah. So it sounds to me like, and for the mother to say, is this a prostitute? It sounds like he had, you know, a history of just hooking up with people for sex. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just that's a really odd thing for the mother to say. Okay. I can't even imagine if my son was here with a girl. The first thing I'm going to think is this a prostitute? No. Yeah. Oh, hi, Laurie. Been a while. Thank you. Thank you.
We will never have a prostitute in our house.
No,
So,
I mean, it's
guess
different if your son says,
we
you
would never
know,
even see him.
right? If your son says something like, "Mom, I went out and you know, whatever," and we didn't, whatever, you might say, "What? Well, yeah, I hope you weren't, you know, it wasn't a prostitute." But to have someone in your house and then you send, I mean, come on, that is just the most crazy thing to even, you know, say, to even deduce. And Kelsey didn't look anything like somebody that was of that profession. So I don't even know why she would say that, unless she was specifically trying to tick her off.
What kind of boyfriend is Patrick Frazee too when his mom is calling his new fiance, he's going to marry her, he's moving her out here, he's getting the loft ready for her, yada yada. And his mom confuses her for a hooker. Where did he step in on all of that? She ends up sleeping in a car, or going from place to place with all of her possessions being in her car, not knowing where she's going to settle because it's just so all in the air. His mom stepped in, the loft's not ready. How horrible for her.
But it's a weird thing
his
too.
Mom to be.
Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, okay? He's not a wallflower. I don't think he is, right? He's pretty assertive when you see him with the dogs and everything else. Now, I will tell you, I have two of my sons are older, And if they ever had a girl here, and I'm like, well, she's not staying here, and they would be like, Mom, why are you doing this? Well, they're going to go with her, or they're going to tell me that, you know, it's if she's not staying, then I'm leaving too. They're not going to sit here and live with me while I've thrown their fiance out. Wasn't she pregnant? Was she pregnant at the time?
I don't know if she was pregnant then. I don't think so. I think she got pregnant shortly thereafter. But still, we trust our sons to, if they're going to bring home a girl, that girl must be somewhat important.
Right.
So
and
you're
they're going
right.
to tell me, Mom, if you're going to do this, we're gone.
You probably have a lot of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not going to stay here with me while I've thrown their girlfriend out. Like, serious enough that she moved down there, that I've thrown her out. You know, it just doesn't make any sense that he would just let her do that, unless it was a plan of theirs. Unless he said to the mother, look, I don't want this girl, whatever. And the mother said, well, why don't I just, do this and throw her, because he and his mother look like they hatched schemes together.
Yeah, but why would he go through all the effort to get her out there and have her come into his house for them to pull that whole scenario?
Men do stupid things.
Just,
my brother met a girl in the Coast Guard. Listen to this one. My brother met a girl in the Coast Guard in she came from Nova Scotia, right? He told her, oh, I love you and all this stuff, right? Come to New Jersey. Well, she came to New Jersey. By then, my brother was engaged to another woman. And so we had her at our house. She came from Nova Scotia. Okay, we didn't throw her out. She came. She stayed with us for about 6 months. My brother that told her this was getting married to another woman. She ended up going with my other brother and like being a nanny for me, because I was like much younger than my brother. So I was like 7 years old. She stayed with us the entire summer. And I cried so hard when she left. They couldn't tell me that she left. She was just gone one day. And that oh my gosh, that just affected me so bad, but I wouldn't let her go. But yeah, guys do stupid things. So it could very well be that he told her to come on down.
Did you still smack him to this day for that?
Do I what?
Do you pop him on top of the... your brother, do you knock him on the head for that? That was
we said we can't believe it, that you had this girl come down and this come all the way from Nova Scotia, and she came down and to just, but she stayed around. She was like a member of the family for about 6-8 months. I don't know why she couldn't go back to Nova Scotia, but my mother took her in. Yeah, see, my mother wouldn't throw her out. My mother took her in because my mother felt so bad because my brother was like yeah.
Boys, right? What are we going to do with these boys?
So I'm saying, could it have been something like that where he said, oh yeah, come on down, and then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But instead of being nice to her, her mother said, oh, we'll get rid of her. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't get to see the whole thing with his brother on the stand, but I heard that he rolled his eyes, and people can't determine if he was rolling his eyes at Patrick or if he was rolling his eyes with Patrick. Did you hear about that? I hate to get into scandalous.
I saw that.
Did you hear
that he looked at him when he walked away and rolled his eyes, right? At Patrick when he was walking off the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not having seen it, I couldn't, couldn't tell you. Carolyn, please read Deborah. Hold on, I have to read Deborah. Let me see. Deborah's trying to tell me something here. Deborah says,
I was going to say,
one of the bushfires is only 40 minutes away from me. We have an evacuation plan. Is that the one I'm reading? That can't be that, right? No. Let me see if there's something else.
we need to get the videos out so you guys can see the pings, traveling the pings. Some of you might have seen it. It's a bit drawn out. Not the best video. I'm not a technical person. I'm a very creative person. I'd like to think, but I'm not technical. Anyway, it can be annoying because even the windshield is dirty. You would think that we forgot the Windex wipes that
Oh, that's
day.
okay. We've gone on
But it
late
is-
night rides for pings. We've done that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just an attempt to follow the cell phone pings to see where he was and what is around. It's very informative, but then
Do you have the
also,
phone bill?
I won't be able to do it tomorrow. Sorry?
Do you have the phone bill with the where it pinged? Do you have that information?
Yes. Yes, it's in the warrant. It's
Okay.
right there for us. I mean,
Okay.
we
To look at that.
did it. We analyzed it. We did it. So we can go through it again and see and double check. But it would be good to be able to see what else is around. Very good way to see that getting to any, like Slater Creek. Isn't it interesting that Slater is the FBI guy's name, and then they've got the Family Creek over there near where Patrick was pinging? I thought that was interesting. But that's in the video, but it shows where the different bodies of waters are, and it also shows where the barbed wire fences are within the side of the road, and what's easy to access and what isn't. It just seems like you're going down a road, but it's very telling and very informative, actually. Shows step by step.
I'm trying to I can't find Deb's thing. I see Liz Stewart says, my aunt kicked my cousin's girlfriend out. She stayed at a motel and she was murdered not far from the motel. My aunt was bipolar and the girlfriend had drug problems. That's terrible, Liz. The pings won't be exact to where he is, Kathy said. Yeah, they can. There's a degree, you know, of they're not, you know, foolproof. The pings. We've seen that, you know. I mean.
Very true. They're pretty good. They're very, very good, actually, but they're not 100% foolproof. And when you're in a position, when it's in a position where they're able to triangulate, it's even better. But the benefit of these cell phone pings, so for example, if we were in New York City, we'd be pretty much screwed with these pings. But because we're in a rural area where there isn't much else around, it's easy to identify the landmark or the location, or not the location, but the position or where the individual was going.
It doesn't work that way here. You know, here it's terrible. Do you know, like, we don't, it's terrible for pings here. Like, things come from Kingston, which Kingston is so far away from me. Okay, it's like an hour away. That's where things ping, Kingston. When I look at my phone bill on pings, it's crazy.
Yeah, your guys' towers are set up like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that in the Chris Watts case, right, where Nicole Kessinger was pinging. Those towers not really identifying and signaling to where she actually was. She was over at the house.
She could be on the highway and still pinged Frederick. Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know how much weight is in that, being that, I mean, we saw it too in another recent case. I think it was it was Jimmy Rogers, or it was another one we recently looked at, and they said, you know, it's not a degree, you know, it's not 100% certain. There's always room for doubt there, because there's always, you know, it could be off.
It's not as reliable. And do you find that because you do so many cases that DNA is kind of falling into that path as well, where those weaknesses with DNA are, you know, they use DNA and they think it's solid, it's 100% foolproof. But you have instances where people have a medical condition or they've had a blood transfusion and the DNA is changed or modified, and they actually did the crime and they got away with it, or they didn't. And it's just, the DNA is not, as we're getting smarter and smarter with technology and science, we're realizing even weaknesses within our strengths, which DNA is, there's holes poked into it, just like with technology and the pinging you're saying. Whereas before, like 1990s and early 2000s, cell phone pinging was gold. You know, if you pinged somewhere, that's where you were.
Right.
But now the technology
And now there's
some-
burner phones,
find-
and now, you know, I mean, there's so many ways to get around the technology. I think the cameras are going to be
I
big.
just learned about this. Yeah.
More and more people having
Sorry to
cameras.
interrupt.
No, more important. I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing, because you see it. If you see the person somewhere, if you see them, yeah, that's going to be the biggest deterrent. I think it's just how we're going to move into a place that has cameras everywhere.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
people have dash cams. They have, you know, they're filming. Believe it, you know, like so many YouTubers, they're filming all over the place. You can't hardly go to any place where people are not filming. Even in the Dollar Trees, in the stores, there's somebody filming, right? So
Yep.
all over. I mean, last night I came out of Walmart and there was just this fight in the parking lot, right? But the first thing, you know what I thought? Oh my gosh, let me get my groceries in. I'm scared. Do they have any guns on them? But it was a verbal fight. So it was like between family members, but it was a pretty good one. So I just, let me get my bags in. I said, you know, for a minute I thought, oh my gosh, would they see me if I went live, like some of those people go with those lives of this fight at Walmart and stuff, right? But immediately I'm thinking that, right? And so I'm just like, believe me, there were people filming that, because it was loud, and it was, you know, a little bit comical, some of the things that they were saying, because they were screaming out illegal activities and stuff that each one has done. So then there were 6 cop cars that came, and then people were watching, people were filming. But so nothing is private.
There was probably the cams that the police officers have on their chest.
Yeah.
So there's all that video. Then you have the public who has their cameras. Then you have the surveillance of Walmart or wherever it was in the parking lot and
Yeah.
the vicinity. And then exiting the lot, you probably have a Chick-fil-A or whatever restaurant that has video. You're
Taco
right,
Bell,
like you can't move. It's almost like written where there's CCTV everywhere,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then isn't it more for people with the accidents that are doing the dash cam,
Yeah.
dash cam?
Right.
For
Yeah.
for insurance reasons, because you get a discount, right? So
Yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah.
right. Technology is really.
So I think that's going to be a deterrent more than anything else. And people that don't think about it, like those kind of people that aren't hip with technology, right? You know, the ones that say, oh, I don't even know how, they're the ones that we're going to see getting caught. And the ones that are very hip with technology are going to, you know, really have to plan very well where they do, what they do, and what they're around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were going to see either very, very criminals that end up that are going to be very, very smart and cunning and aware of all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So
with phones
what
today,
do you
I mean,
guys
anybody
hope
can film anybody with a phone today. You know what I mean? A phone is your camera, is your video camera. You're right there. So.
No escaping.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff. But I don't know. I was expecting more excitement. I don't know.
Do you feel like, do you think that they will the prosecution will bring up Krystal's witnesses? Meaning the people, okay, so I want to touch base on something. The defense was asking Krystal over and over, what's your deal? The deal is that she has to tell the truth. So then he said, so what I focused on and emphasized on, I'm not verbatim here, is he kept reiterating, so did you ever go to the police about this? Did you ever warn Kelsey? No. But then he would repeat did you alert your friends? Did you alert your family? Did you ever talk to them about it? Did you talk to friends? Did you talk to family? Over and over and over. We know, because those friends and family members actually got on television and implicated themselves and their part in all of this. Do you think that defense is going to use that against her when she has said her plea deal relies on her telling the truth, but in the same breath when he asks her if she talked about this, informed any of her friends or family members, and she says no repeatedly when he has these individuals come up, and or he puts a video screen up of her friends and family on television saying their part. Is that a trap? Are we watching a trap in the happening?
Well, wait, she said
We
that
getting ready
she's
to see-
claiming that she didn't even tell that friend of hers, the one that told the lawyers that she works with?
Correct. And I'm sitting in my seat going crazy because he's asking you again and again, and he's emphasizing about her having to tell the truth for this plea deal. And he asks again, so did you talk to your friends? Did you talk to your family about this? Did you alert any of them? Did you tell any of them this? No. And so what's your plea deal about again? Truth? Right. Okay. Again, tell me, did you talk to your friends? Did you tell your family? It was such a pattern. I picked up on it immediately, and I thought, there's the loophole right there.
That's very strange. Then, yeah, that's very strange. If she said no, I thought she said yes to. Oh, okay. So I have to go back and look at that again. Yeah, that's very strange. Then could open it up to prosecutor. Depending on. But I don't want to say anything until I look at everything and see what. But it could break. Somebody said the deal. Right. Yeah. Interesting.
It's a lot of questions today.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was just expecting them to bring out the surveillance, if it is, of her. Where I don't know. Like to get, because they want to show Patrick didn't do this, so you think they would have guns blazing for her, the defense.
Right. Yeah, well, I was
something's
expecting
weird.
more too. And it seems like a little insight. It seems like they were really moving along with her quickly, and defense was so quick with their rebuttal, or with their not rebuttal, but the cross-examination of her. So remember, court was delayed this morning. There was a guy in a suit who was new. He seemed to be waiting to be going on the stand. And then once they informed us that court was in recess until 10:30, he didn't come back. I wonder if he was the next witness. I don't know. But trying to figure out what the suit.
Well, usually they finish with
something.
it's very rare that they would be in the middle of her testimony and put someone else on instead. But maybe he was supposed to come on after her, and they didn't have time for him. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe they just said, we're not going to have time for you to come on then, because we're not going to finish up with her, and he'll be back tomorrow. And so if we're to speculate and guess, maybe this is since they just talked about the fire, they talked about the kids being there, moving the trough, the ashes. They're not likely going to tell us where that trash can went, but they'll still focus on the burn. And the only thing still left to cover about that burn is that fragment that was found in that. So maybe that's what's coming next tomorrow, is that fragment, tooth fragment, testimony, analysis, results, perhaps. What do you think?
I don't know. What about those lawyers? See, that if the lawyers come on and say that she told the friend, why would the prosecution do that? I don't know, unless they're looking, I don't know, it's just so confusing.
Like maybe they'll never
Thank
even
you.
have them come on the stand. They'll just ignore that. It seems very glazed over. You're right.
But then wouldn't then the defense put it forward? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird. I can't believe she would deny that. Are they going to then say the friend is a liar? And why would the friend lie about that? And then what if they brought those the attorneys that on there?
Yeah. I mean, the
It's
fact that
weird.
her friend
It's
lent
very
her
weird.
car 3 times.
I'm getting very
They're not gonna
frustrated with
talk
the
about-
whole thing.
Yeah, it seems, I almost wonder, never mind, I'm going to hold back on this opinion, but it seems a little bit.
You think they're trying to trap her
Oh.
now that they've got what they want?
I don't know if it's trap her or something's going on. I think you're more in tune to it, and I'm picking up on it. I need a night of thinking about it, but it's not making
Well,
sense.
I mean, maybe it's oh my gosh, everything is so weird. I just have so many questions. Like, where are, yeah, just like, I don't know, where were the have we heard from a lot of the CBI investigators? Slater, like, did they ask him, well, did you get the footage from those, they didn't ask him anything about the scrap mills or whatever, right?
Well, they did, and they were very extensive. They talked about the search of Kelsey's house. It's the three primary places. It's Kelsey Berreth's place, townhouse, it's Patrick Frazee's ranch, and it's the Dave Nash ranch. And they covered the Dave Nash ranch, where they went and traced where they searched the two barns. I'm exhausted, you guys. The next one was Kelsey's, and that's when Krystal came on to discuss the blood. And then, we have Agent Adams talk about where he was pricked and he had a little bit of blood, and he put that under control. And then we have Patrick Frazee's place. That was what was covered very well today. They had video of when they took Krystal Kenney out there, and she directed them into different places and explained things. And then they also had the testimony of the two ranch hands that came on today that were a bit vague with the timing. But yeah, they're very much involved, and I believe that they're laying that foundation. But at the same time, there's just a lot of questions around it, because those two guys, they didn't get the date.
No.
We hear about a high heat fire that singed the pine trees, but we don't have any testing. Maybe we're going to hear more about the forensic type things, where CBI and FBI collected samples from the foliage around that was singed that might have some type of evidence that would prove either it's a high fire, a high velocity, high heat fire, whatever it will render in that scientific realm of what they do. And then maybe we'll have more testimony about that consumptive testing on the tooth fragment that was found there. Maybe it's time for science, and that's what we're going to see for a while. But they did dismiss Krystal Kenney, and she's done for the day until they bring her back on again. And that means that she will return. There's more from her to come.
Okay.
But maybe we're moving on to that. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
You're
tomorrow's
better at
Friday,
analyzing.
right? Tomorrow's Friday, and that's the second week. And they said the trial was going to last about 3 weeks. So, I mean, next week could be, could the prosecution rest tomorrow? I don't know. But they had 256. They haven't brought 256 witnesses here. I don't know.
But do they always do that? I mean,
no, they don't.
You might have 255 witnesses, but is that how many witnesses you will have on the stand? Not necessarily.
Right. No, that might have
been. Yeah. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have 255 people that testify to you. You would know better.
I really doubt they're going to have 256 people testify. That might have been like the master list. I don't see how they would get done at the time frame if they had 256 people testifying. I don't.
Well, they were cramming them in. It was a lot of witnesses for a couple days, but that would be a lot in each day, every day, for 3 weeks. To make that happen.
And I mean, who's the defense going to bring on? Are they going to bring on some, I don't know, some friends of Krystal's who are going to say she's a liar? Like maybe someone Patrick knows, right? I don't know, to throw her credibility out the window.
Yeah, I feel like her credibility is gone. She played a bigger role in this. Stop with the tears, own up to it, and be grateful for the sweet deal that she got. Be gracious, be grateful, and have some empathy and some sympathy for Kelsey and her family, because it's bull crap, you know. And she's like, oh, I left the evidence behind. I wanted them to find me because I just didn't feel like that Kelsey or her mother and her family should have to go through this. Oh, so you wanted to be found so that Kelsey could have, and her family could have the justice
Right,
that
yeah.
they deserve.
Yeah, sure.
When you're investigated, law enforcement talks to you, you lie.
Right, and that's why you came down 3 times, and then we're going to kill her, and you didn't tell anyone. Okay, come on. Yeah, it's just, she's gone. Yeah, with that, I mean, but I'm just wondering if he's going to try to do something. Like, who do you think the defense is going to call for their witnesses? You know, character witnesses for Patrick that are going to say what a great and upstanding guy he was. Maybe they're going to call that guy that he worked with that he used to go to the wild donkeys or whatever, showing them. You know, and he's such a great guy, and he gave to this, and you know, and he was such a great dad, and he took care of his child, because that's what that guy said in other things. So they'll probably, you know, do some of that. You know, about of his being such a great parent. I don't know, and father and guy, an upstanding guy. Maybe people he dealt with in the dog circles. I don't know.
Yeah, probably Slagle. I really would like to see Slagle on the witness stand. I'd like to hear what he has to say and how he was so adamant to get the Conoco video from Miss Key at E&T Bank, because we all know that's because Krystal Canyon was on that video. But
can't believe that maybe the prosecution will then should call him. Yeah. Yeah.
Who would speak up for him? I don't know who would speak up for him. It doesn't seem like even his mom. And then his brother just did it, and that wasn't effective.
I'm trying to think, like, somebody that I think just probably people that he worked with. It probably, if he was well respected in that dog training, they'll probably get someone there to speak for him. I would think.
Maybe we're his friends. Well, you know, we're speculating. We can't do that because we'll just drive ourselves crazy. They're going to have their witness list, and we'll hear it soon, and it'll make sense. And you probably called all of them. You probably nailed it. But we'll just go crazy trying to figure it out.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, let's take it, see what tomorrow brings with the testimony. And yeah, I know. Wow, it's just we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But crazy. It didn't go. It didn't go. I mean, he asked some of the questions that I had, but it didn't go the way that I thought they were going to really have a grueling day with her and have a bunch of aha moments, but they really didn't. Not yet.
I feel like it was aha though, because Carolyn, she didn't even realize the charges that she qualified for by her actions. She didn't realize the consequences, the time that she would have had to serve for the crimes that she is admitting that she did, but she is not pleading to. And that was, in of itself, just really disgusting for Kelsey and her family to have to hear her just be so blasé and oblivious to that. She has a great attorney. Her attorney should have prepped her better to have some sort of decorum, some sort of respect, some acknowledgement of what she's done and her participation in this, even though they're minimizing it, to just at least have some knowledge. Just education, just educated, rudimentary.
Yeah.
I gotta go to bed, guys.
Yeah, I know. You better go to bed so you make court tomorrow. But thank you for coming in. Thank you, Tom, for talking about this, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Then.
Night, Carolyn.
Good night. Thank you, guys. Everybody says thank you in the chat.
Good night, Deb.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
I never had that say that before. That's weird. Oh boy. Okay, so that is just weird. Now, but poor Sharon. This has been. Eric, it's okay. You didn't know what was going on. So, anybody have any news on Sharon? What happened? She had just gotten a call when... This was already week 2, Kristen, yeah. Give her strength to believe in herself. Go, Deb. I did give her strength to believe in herself. She had to leave to say goodbye. Out of the blue. Yeah, I saw it go up. That is so weird. Her mom died during a chat too. Wow. Though she didn't know at that time. She just said, I don't feel good. I feel cold or something. I have to go. Her dad, Sharon's father, died during the chat. Well, they got the call during the chat. Yeah, I don't... Hey, Karen. They were on the phone with her while we were here, and I remember about her mom and not feeling right. Yeah. No, they were on the phone with Mike at the memory care center. I think that's what she said. Your hubby was woke up twice, and you jumped both times. Crazy day. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, it's been a sad day. So I don't know. Maybe we should, bless her heart. She was dealing with all that and apologize. I know. I'm like, just go, Sharon. We weren't aware her daddy was in danger. Yeah, but I think he wasn't doing well though, Sakura. His health had declined, and that's why they had to make that decision to put him in the memory care. Yeah, and now Sassy's whining. She's whining. But anybody that I don't know, because now Jimmy's like, this is like, we've got to get a Westie now, you know. It's just because it's like the kids are all sad, and it's Sassy sad, and you hear her? Do you hear her? Oh, you have news from Sharon? Okay. You can hear her, yeah. Thanks, Sam. She put the... Yeah, poor Sassy. She lost 2 sisters in 1 month. Okay, Ivy, yeah, please. I'm trying to figure out what to... Oh, she did, you know? Yeah, I am in total shock. I don't even know if it's really sunk in, because she was at the vet, and you know, sometimes your dog is not here and something happens, it's like, oh, they're still at the vet, or oh, maybe they're just outside, or maybe they're in the other room. It's kind of like that. Yes, for the win. I've lost my big American Bulldog. I can't even believe it. It definitely hasn't. I know that it hasn't sunk in. And today rained all day, so I didn't go outside, but I know that when I do go outside, when it's nice and she's normally around me on certain times, then it will be very real. I know, Diana, right? Thanks to Scooter. Sharon called someone here in chat, Carolyn. She's on with Sakura, I think. When one person in CPL does the other usually... What? What was that? I don't know what... I lost it. What did it say? Your friend is a trainer in Oswego, and she put a Westie in a rescue group. When one person in a CPL does the other usually dies. When one person in a CPL does, the other usually dies right behind. What do they do in a CPL? What is a CPL? Oh, in a couple. In a couple, yeah, my parents died within 300 and 1 day shy of a year. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Dusty. Thanks. Did we get an update from Sakura? Oh, here we go. Right now, they don't know what happened. The ambulance and fire department has just left. Of course, our dear Sharon is completely brokenhearted. I'm so glad she has her husband with her for support. Yeah, definitely. Well, let her know we're all thinking and praying for her. I don't know, Julie. Yes, my friend lost both parents a year apart. Yeah, it's just that I want to make sure that the breeder is very good for the Westie. I can't chat, but tell Sharon. What? Yeah, Carol, it usually happens like that a lot. Same goes my grandparents and their little dog. My grandma went first. Yeah, because all of a sudden Luke goes and he's like, oh my gosh, Sassy. Because like the poor kids, it's like, this is just nuts. Oh, sorry to hear that, Stephanie. Prayers for him. And Jimmy's like, he doesn't, like, in a way, this other place is not going to have puppies until December, and then it would be whatever it is. I think he's hoping that we can find a place that would have a puppy that's ready to go within, because so much sadness around the house with this, and he can't believe Delilah's like the buddy, Jimmy's buddy too. It just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. Hey, Robert. Yeah, I know I could find one like instantaneously. It's just that I want to find one that I can really trace the health to. Thanks, Karen. Your mom the next morning. Yeah, I know, Danielle. And I know like some people, like they say, because I had a friend, oh my gosh, she almost basically told me like I was a nutcase because I got like a new dog immediately when my other dog died. And I'm sorry, some people heal that way better. Some people want to, take a long time to grieve. Either way it has to be what's right for the person. But some people will act just like, oh, you're just replaced. No, you're not. No, we're not another bulldog right now. Just a Westie right now. I'd love to get a Westie and a Scottie, but I doubt I'd ever find that. But sometimes, yeah, you need something to put all that stuff, right? Especially, and Sassy, just probably feels completely alone. Like, where is everybody? And Sassy's so little. She always has either a Westie or the bulldog to protect her, and now she has, like, nothing. Oh. It's crazy. It's not a good day. It really hasn't been a good week at all. A lot of bad news this week. A lot of bad news. Others need not judge. Yeah, I know, Ivy, but they always do, don't they? They always do. Everybody, yeah. No, I don't want a puppy from a pet store. No. Mm-mm. No. Sharon thanks everyone for their kindness. All right, tell her we love her and we're thinking of her. We just don't want to get a big dog. We definitely want the Westie. I just loved the Westie attitude. Loved it. Okay, I would love to get a Scottie and a Westie, but I definitely have to. Like Jimmy said, do you want to try Scottie this time? And I said, I cannot be without a Westie. I just can't. No way from a pet store. Don't want you to worry about that. Okay. But Bebop, I lost my Westie in my arms on October 2nd. And now we just lost our bulldog. And we have a Maltese that's grieving too. So we did give it time, you know what I mean? But it's, we need to focus on something happy. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I have a friend and that's, got some bad news this week. And it's like need something happy. If you please keep my friend in your prayers because she has a long battle ahead of her, but she's going to fight this, I know. Yeah, Lisa, it's been crazy. It's just been absolutely crazy. It's been like a crap 6 months. I'm telling you, it really has. It's just been, it feels like one thing after another after another. No, it's okay, Carol. I'm getting a dog and Duchess, I think. Is it a Westie? It's not a Westie, is it, Daniel? Yeah, I'm thinking that whisper to me. Oh, Westies have a great attitude. They're just, like of all the dogs, I'll give you an example. Like when we went to Hershey last year, he stayed here with the dogs. And of course, the bulldog and Sassy would be inside. And Zoe would stay out with my son the entire time. If my son was outside fixing his car, because he would put the big lights on because he worked at they have a restaurant, so he got home late. She'd be out there, and he laughed one day. He said that he's out there and she's out there, and then he just sees her hightail it in the house, and she's not one that, she'll be like sometimes like out under the deck barking at something, or they're tenacious. Okay, it's Best Westie in Holland, New York. I'll check it out. Best Westie in Holland, New York. Kind of south of Buffalo. Oh, that is a little far, yeah. And so, yeah, they just want to help you with everything. They're guard dogs, they're family dogs, they're funny, they're great little dogs. Yeah, she had a feisty attitude. They do, because they have that terrier attitude. And my mother always loved the Scotty, even though we never had one. But every time I see a Scotty, it reminds me of my mother, because my mother always said how much she loved a Scotty, though she never had one. So kind of like, I don't know, I'd love to get a Scotty Annie Musty, but I'll see, maybe one day. Sharon will see all the love that's here for her. Yes, definitely. Why did she go racing inside? Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. He's saying if Zoe went inside, he's like, I just put my tools away and I went right in with her, because if she went racing inside, then it's something that must be really bad, because she'll go after like anything. You're not answering me, but you are for everyone else. Alexa, are you, did you just come in here, and are you,
I don't know that.
oh, Alexa's answering me. There's a male Wexie that walks at my beach. He loves to play. Yeah, they do think they are big dogs. They do. Oh, the eyes. I know, right? They're right here. Oh, you need support with a new iPhone? There's probably an app for that, RL. Oh, ours are in good. You got a puppy after my lab passed and helped my boxer so much, even though he gets annoyed. Yeah, I think it would. I think Sassy's she's probably just really doesn't know what the heck is going on, right? Because she was hanging out with where she usually sleeps, like over here. Like I would be like, where is she? And then oh, she was over there by Delilah. And then I'm just like, well, that's strange, because you know, she's usually over here. And then I think she sensed something before any of us did. Hold it up again. Where did I find them? At the Dollar Tree. I have different ones too. I'm going to put Velcro on them, so that there's like angry triangular eyes, and there's like these squinty big eyes that I have. Yeah, right, Carol? Oh my goodness. One eye has a mind of its own, yeah. Oh boy. Your relative rushed to the hospital? Oh my gosh. This is really? Oh, prayers that they get well, Sunflower Brown. That's horrible. Sepsis is, hopefully they've got it quickly. Poor kids and poor Sassy. Yeah, I know, right? It's like she knew, and now she's like really vocal tonight. And she has to go back for her blood tests that she had after the Lyme disease, because she just finished her medication. I swear if something is off with her, oh my gosh. I know you don't care for Dollar General, but they have your Red Truck Christmas stuff. Did you look at my video? I got some stuff in Michael's with Red Trucks, and Michael's and somewhere else. Dollar Tree, I think. Yeah, I think so. Different get please? Different get please? What does that mean? Do you know? Different get please. When does all the crafting start? I don't know. I mean, I was going to do a lot of other stuff today. Even yeah. But there were other plans. You still have that video to watch, okay. And Diana, your video's up there. I don't know what I was thinking that it wasn't up there, but it's up there. But it must have just been an oversight. It's in the playlist now. It should be all good. Sorry about that. Think of all the good memories. Yeah, no, I am. But that's why, yeah. Use a different vet. I'll use a different vet. Yeah, but see, I know it seems like it's the vet's fault, but it really isn't. It really isn't. She had all her blood work done, and he saved her life 2 years ago. You know, he's really a very good vet. I know it sounds like, yeah, but it's just a freaky thing. Yeah, the bulldog was, you know, was going to be, let me see. She would have been 10 in January or 11 in January. 10 in January, I think. And for an American bulldog, believe it or not, they're not that long lived. Unfortunately, they're not. And she had cancer 2 years ago, and he cut it out, and she had clear margins, and everything was good. And it didn't grow back in there. But Zoe is the shocker. Zoe is the shocker because there's Westies that are 18 years old and running around. Yeah, right, Alyssa? So, you know, it was shocking to us how fast it went because, I mean, she was fine. And then one day she's just not fine. And then you bring her in and you don't even have to, you know, you don't even have to make a decision. They don't even call you and say, well, we got to see this. They just tell you your dog's gone. I'm too old to settle in and, oh, yeah, well, then maybe it would have been adopting an older dog. Yeah, right? Yeah, because on the Westie forum, there's a lady, her Westie was 18 years old and was running across the back lawn. That's like when Luke's like, oh my gosh, if we lose Sassy now? And I'm like, no, Sassy, like, you know, normally they live very high teens. I mean, mid-teens at least. So I'm just hoping that we can't go through. Make a memory area. Yeah. Dr. Kevorkian. But no, our vet was not like that. Isn't it disturbing? I was so upset I didn't know how to feel. But anyway, I think I'm going to call it early night tonight because I just want to see what's going on with Sassy and look around at some breeders and stuff and see what's going on. Oh, because he thinks she must have heard something big in the woods. Really, really, really big. She's not scared of anything. So if she ran in, he got right in after her. But anyway, thank you guys. What is that, Mommy? Write this down. Facebook. 2 Westies. She's the breeder. Wait, where is it? Hold on a minute. 2 Westies? That's the place? But what did you say the other one was? You said that's not the other one, right? 2 Westies? My 2 Westies. Painted post. All right. I'll check it out. I'm gonna do a little bit of searching before I go to bed. But thank you to all of our moderators. Thank you guys. Prayers for everyone that needs them. Pray for Sharon and for Sunflower Brown's, was it your cousin or your friend? Please just pray collective prayer for everyone. If you do, that would be great. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow.